The Rocky Mountains, a beautiful backdrop for what should be a great day of college football. As we welcome you inside Folsom Field, where the Wyoming Cowboys at 1-1 travel to Colorado to take on the Colorado Buffaloes, sitting at 0-2. Certainly not the start to the season that the Buffaloes were anticipating. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Farnham alongside Yogi Roth. And Yogi, these two programs, polar opposite views in their communities. You go to Laramie, Wyoming right now. They've got 47 new faces on this team. They've got a new head coach, yet they have a great deal of hope.
Yeah, and they are completely jacked about this program. When you look at it, they believe in two things: discipline and accountability across the board, off the field and on the field. And you've seen the product the last 2 weeks, and they are fired up for today's game.
Now, when you look at Colorado, let's just say it's a very different feeling. I got off the plane and got my hair cut. I know my lid looks good. And when the barber was talking to me, you know what he said? Things are bad here. They're panicking in a big way here in Boulder, Colorado. Well, everybody hits that panic button. This coaching staff and team, they're hitting the easy button.
Yeah, they are, and you do have a nice haircut. But this program, what they've done in Colorado is scale back. That's what happens when you lose games or play poorly in college football. Offensively, not as many plays. Defensively, not as many schemes. And that allows you to play fast and allow these athletes in Colorado to do what they do, which is go and play ball.
Well, you look at these two teams, and this game is significant on so many different reasons. One, for Colorado, one win can change the total outlook for an entire season. They've got a bye coming up next week. For Wyoming, can they bottle up that 30 minutes they played against Texas and extend it out over the length of an entire game? We're going to find out. Kickoff is right around the corner. We'll introduce you to Samantha Steele, the third member of our broadcast here on Fox College Sports. We are moments away from kickoff here in Boulder, Colorado and Wyoming. The battle between the Mountain West Conference and the Big 12. Let's welcome in our third member of our broadcast team, Samantha Steele. Samantha?
Thanks, guys. I'm over here in the student section today because we want all the fans at home to know that we want you to be a part of the broadcast. Here's how you can do it. Go online to twitter.com and follow me at Sam on FCS, or you can go onto Scout's website, colorado.scout.com. Jump on the message boards and let everybody know what you're thinking. I'm willing to admit that this guy right here might know something about Colorado that I don't know. What do you think?
Of course I do. Come on.
Yogi, are you man enough to admit maybe these guys know something you don't?
I'm thinking Sam should dress like some of those guys. She had a little more flair and flavor to her game. Well, the game's about ready to go. Kickoff is next, right here on Fox College Sports. Big 12 football on Fox College Sports is brought to you by Philips HD. The images that move you the most are what we deliver the best. All right, some news down on the sideline. Not good news for Colorado. We go right back down to Samantha Steele. What do you have, Sam?
Not good news at all. Huge blow to the Buffaloes offense. Darryl Scott will not be playing in today's game. I was just told by a team official he does have a knee injury. We don't know anything as far as timetable yet, but we do know that he won't be playing today. Back up to you, Sean.
All right, yeah, interesting, because last week obviously had a great game, 84 yards, and things were going, or looking up at least for Darryl Scott, the former #1 recruit in the country, a tailback out of Ventura, California. Notice the uniforms, though. All right, it's throwback. They're throwing back to the 1930s and a decade that really saw the birth of Buffalo football on the national level. Two running backs in that decade actually led the nation in rushing.
That's right, and one of them is Byron Whizzer White. I mean, his number is retired here, number 24, one of 3 numbers retired for Colorado. NFL and College Football Hall of Fame, a Heisman runner-up in 1937, a Rhodes Scholar, and Yale Law School. So he set the bar pretty high for today.
Yeah, you know, you talk about all those guys, sounds like he's Tim Tebow. I mean, Tim Tebow, everybody loves Tim Tebow. I love Tim Tebow, but you gotta deal with Byron White. Go turn back the clock a little bit.
He definitely sets the bar, and it hurts obviously losing Darryl Scott. Speaking of running backs today, but they've got a stable back there. They got a few guys that can carry the rock. And
Stewart is back in the running back committee for Colorado. Okay, so Wyoming's going to be kicking off. It'll be Colorado ball to get started. Back to return the kick. Demetrius Sumler is back to return it.
You got to be excited to have the football if you're Colorado. You want to set the pace today with your offensive mentality. Get out and get on the field and run the ball downfield. That's been the mantra. They haven't been able to do it, and all the fans out there and all the critics may say, hey, where is that running game we've heard so much about? But when you get down 20-3, 30-3 at the half, you can't run the football.
All right, keynote, Colorado has not led for not 1 second of any of their first 2 games. This crowd here at Folsom Field, they want them to take the lead. They want them to have an opening drive, because if they don't and Wyoming scores first, then that scraps that whole rushing attack.
You're exactly right, and everybody's excited, and they're very eager to see what are they going to do right off the bat. What's the mentality? I mean, there's some differences up front on the offensive line. We'll see how these guys approach the game.
It's going to be Brandon Stewart bringing the ball across the 20. He's got a lane to the outside, brings it across the 30 to the 31-yard line. And that is actually Brian Lockridge with the return there. And they will go ahead and set up offense at the 31-yard line. Okay, has not been a great start for Dan Hawkins this season. Cody Hawkins, his son, a little inconsistent, and the pressure's on him mainly because of his last name.
Yeah, they really are. When you talk to Coach Hawkins, he's got this excellence with class model, and that's his philosophy through his program's essence of everything they do.
No surprise they go with the rush, go straight up the middle. Sumler's got some lane, gets up to around a first down, dependent upon the spot. A good start for that offensive line, and when we talked to Coach Hawkins during the week, he said this is a group that he felt improved during that Toledo game.
Yeah, and they like to run left when you talk to it. Why? Because they can cut on the backside. And by that, the right guard and right tackle can get into the legs of the defenders.
All right, first down, first pass attempt here for Cody Hawkins across the middle. It's complete. And he finds the big target, the tight end, and this guy can get it done.
Yeah, he can. He's a senior captain. He's a big-time prospect. When he came in, had a drop last week, obviously a big one over the middle, and he's very excited to kind of get back, and this is how you get great players involved early on.
Well, a change of offensive philosophy here. They're going with some no huddle. Reminds us of last year's Colorado team. They hadn't been doing that. They take a shot down the field. A lot of contact, and there's going to be a flag.
Yeah, there is. And that's a good job by Cody Hawkins, recognizing that, hey, there are some guys on top. Looks like a little PI. Let's take a shot. Necessarily, he wasn't open, but when you look at a quarterback, they've got to spread it out a little bit. And this offense is predicated on pounding the football.
15 from the previous spot. First down.
Rick Lumit, the referee, giving us the information. And a pass interference going to give him the first down. So this so far has been a very successful drive for Colorado. They're getting a little bit of confidence, and as we mentioned, it's important early, especially with this home crowd.
Yeah, and this offense is based on pounding the rock and then play action passes, and that's what you've seen this far in this first drive.
1st and 10. Cody Hawkins goes to the shotgun. You got 3 wide receivers. Send the tight end in motion. And we've got a penalty flag on the field. We got a false start is going to be the call here. And these are some of the things. Hold on.
Snap. False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And these are some of the mistakes that you can't afford to have when you're struggling and you're trying to get some confidence as we take a look at the starting lineup for the Colorado Buffaloes. As they break it out right, a young offensive line. See no seniors in this group up front. And then you see the playmakers on the outside. Scotty McKnight is the favorite target of Cody Hawkins. The delay handoff to Sumler, and he stopped right away. And this Wyoming defense, they brought a hard hat last week. They love to hit, and they did it right there.
Yeah, and they're going up against a 3-4 defense, and that's not something that's very typical every week when you play college football, and especially early on in the season. Remember, every day Cody Hawkins goes against a 4-3 defensive front. So it's something different. They had to practice, and you only get X amount of days to prepare for that.
Gabe Napton on that tackle that last time. He had a big game a week ago. Hawkins back to pass. He's got his man. It's Scotty McKnight. Crosses the 20, pushed out of bounds. Around the 17-yard line, and they're in the red zone.
And if you look at this play, it's the exact play they ran earlier when they got the pass interference. And it's a great job of the quarterback, Cody Hawkins, reading high to low. That's what you have to do as a quarterback. You make the play action, you sell run, as you'll see right here. Great play action fake, suck the backers up. Wyoming secondary is notorious for staying deep. They did it the first 2 weeks of the season. You drop it down underneath. Number 21, Scotty McKnight.
A 26-yard pickup on the pass. Handoff to Sumler. Bumps into it, but keeps his legs turning. Fumbles the ball. It's picked up by Scotty McKnight. We got ourselves a touchdown. Not the most conventional touchdown you'll see today, probably. But for Colorado, ladies and gentlemen, it's 13:30 left to go in the first quarter, and that's their first lead they've had all season long.
It was great. I got a chance to go to dinner with Scotty McKnight on Thursday night, and he's the type of player you want on your program. He's not a burner. He may not be a first-round pick, but he gets around the football. He's scooping and scoring right here, falling in the end zone for a touchdown.
And the officials are stopping this. They might be reviewing to see if the name was down.
Now, the beautiful thing in college football, every play is expected to be replayed upstairs in the booth. It has to be immediate, though. I talked to the officials before the game. I said, take me through your mentality when there's a fumble. If there's an immediate decision, we have the ability to overturn it. That's what they're looking at right now.
All right, from the far side of the field, you see Sumler did a great job keeping his legs moving, started to bobble the ball. I guess what they're going to look at here is, was his knee down before he actually lost it out in front of him?
Now, the big thing here, if his knee was down and you're that offensive staff at Colorado, you got to get your next play ready. You're at the 5-yard line. What are you going to? Are you going to your tight end? Are you going to continue to pound the football?
Make the call. It's a touchdown. I think it's a touchdown.
I think it's a touchdown. I think it's a great job by Scotty McKnight. You want to come back and take that teachable moment to the sideline and say, hey, man, 2 hands on the ball, high and tight. Turnovers are everything.
Review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
All right, so far you and I are 1 for 1 on making calls that are being reviewed. We'll see how good we do all day long. But again, for Colorado, this is exactly what Dan Hawkins, his coaching staff, and this team needed to have, is to come out here on an opening drive, move the ball immediately down the field. They did a nice job establishing the rush and a couple of big plays. It was a 6-play, 69-yard drive. It took just 1 minute and 30 seconds for them to get in the end zone. The extra point is up, and it's good. 7-0 Colorado in the early stages here at Folsom Field. The Buffs are feeling good. Can Wyoming answer? We're going to find out in just a few here on Fox College Sports. 7-0 the score early in this contest. Scotty McKnight with the big play, getting in the end zone, but also caught the 26-yard pass that brought him within the red zone as Colorado has its first lead of the season, and Dan Hawkins can take a sigh of relief, at least momentarily. Wyoming Cowboys going to be set to receive the kickoff, and really when you think about this team, the Wyoming Cowboys, we mentioned it off the top, 47 new faces, a lot of change in Laramie, Wyoming. And you've got a team now that has a lot of confidence, but how will they respond here on the road, trailing? Kickoff is returned across the 20, is brought down at the 22-yard line by Marcel Gibson. Marcel Gibson also plays on the defensive side of the ball, doing double duty. Scotty McKnight does a lot more of that. We will introduce you to the starting quarterbacks. Robert Benjamin, the JC transfer. He was the NCJAA Region 1 Offensive Player of the Year a year ago. He brings in a lot of different athletic intangibles, especially with this no-huddle offense. And the first play right up the middle, it gets stuffed, met right at the line. And Wyoming and head coach Dave Christensen really making a lot of changes as far as how this offense goes. This is an offensive line that really is starting to play well. You've got some senior leadership. You've got a talented young freshman. Their wide receiving core, but again, this is brought to you by Phillips. It's a wide receiving core in flux. Not a lot of big, tall receivers, but a lot of guys that run some good routes. And Benjamin back to pass. That one's deflected across the middle by the big man. And you can say big man, Marcus Burton. Take a look at the defensive starters for Colorado. Marquez Herrard up front, Curtis Cunningham. Not to mention the guy we just saw in the linebacker core, Marcus Burton, Jeff Smart. 2 very experienced linebackers. Jimmy Smith, they have a lot of high hope for him at corner. They really think he can be good. Quarterback draw, nothing going here. They stop him on 3rd down and long, and that's going to force a punt for Wyoming. So everything going good for Colorado in the early stages.
And when you look at Robert Benjamin, he describes his game as, hey, I've got no limitations. But the facts are, he's young in his career. He's not a very accurate passer. He can make plays with his legs. Last week against Texas, made a few good plays, but also on 3rd down, had minimal success. And they want to correct that early on in the drives. 1st down, 2nd down. But don't think this is going to be the only quarterback you see all day. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Christensen pulled the plug and rotated these quarterbacks very early on in this game to get some tempo going.
Wide gaps here on the punt. Jason Espinoza back to return it for Colorado. He catches it at about the 37-yard line. That's where the Colorado Buffaloes will take over. Can we see lightning strike twice in the first quarter? Can they take a 14-0 lead? We're going to find out in just a few. Stay tuned. Ralphie took the field right before kickoff, ran right on down in the end zone, and that's what Colorado did on its first drive. 7-0 lead. Let's go down to Samantha Steele, the third member of our broadcast team. Samantha, very interesting start for Colorado. First lead they've had all season long, then their defense came out and took care of business.
Guys, all week I kept asking these players about tempo, and they said, we're a mellow team, we're really calm. Well, maybe it's because they haven't come out as strong as they just did. I walked along the sideline right after that touchdown. You know what they were yelling? Not today, brother, not today. Looks like they're pumped up and ready to go, guys.
That's the same thing Yogi said to me when I asked if he was going to pick up the tab at breakfast. That's not a good snap over the top ahead of Cody Hawkins, and he's kept it loose, and Wyoming's got the ball. So as everything was looking like it was going to go Colorado's way, a poor snap over the top of Cody Hawkins' head, and Cody Hawkins, who suffered a concussion late in the game against Toledo, is down on the field still.
And you look at this right here, it's a bad snap by the center. Unfortunate there, you see Cody Hawkins scrambling, trying to get to the football, takes a tough hit there, lands on his neck, kind of spins around on it. Talking to him this week, he said, hey, I'll be fine from the concussion. I got a good shot, but there's no doubt that you're still sore. That neck, it takes a while for you to recover from an injury like that. Trying to avoid hits, the one that just happened right there.
And Brian Hendricks, the will linebacker, the inside linebacker for Wyoming, just the sophomore, able to pick it up. It was a loss of 19 on the play, and ladies and gentlemen, here come the Cowboys. Benjamin looking to run the quarterback option, takes it up the middle, picks up about 4 on the carry.
This is exactly what he does. He needs to get in a rhythm as a quarterback, especially when you're a young guy in a different environment, his second Big 12 game in a row. Let this guy get tackled a few times.
Your predictions and keys to the game. First for Wyoming.
For Wyoming, number one, it's the theme of their program, discipline and accountability. When you look at the second theme, it needs to be tempo, tempo, tempo. They need to match the athleticism and the intensity of Colorado. And lastly, what can you do with that Texas momentum? How do you bottle it up? And right here, if you go back to the Texas game, they block a punt, they get some momentum, they get a touchdown, they get a turnover here. Can they capitalize on it and put a score in the end zone?
On that last play, Marcus Burton just ate up Darius Terry. The pass to the outside, a little too much juice on that. Some pressure coming straight up the middle from Marquez Herrard. And that defense of Colorado trying to hold tough against the Wyoming Cowboys. It'll bring up a 4th down and a field goal opportunity for Wyoming.
There was a huge difference when you think about where this quarterback was a year ago and now. Not only football-wise, but lifestyle-wise. You've got homework, you've got more film study, you've got a lot more things on your plate, and it's hard those first few weeks of the season to get adjusted to that.
Yeah, still looks a little uncomfortable out there running this offense, but the coaching staff believes in him. Austin McCoy set to kick it. The kick is up, and it is no good. A missed opportunity on the road for Wyoming, and that's one of the things that if you're Coach Christensen, you can't afford to have happen. You get a turnover, you get an opportunity in the red zone to put points on the board, and you leave them out there.
He was so excited about the way his special teams played against Texas, thwarting a few fakes on the punt, scoring and capitalizing on the punt block. To come out here and do that is going to be very difficult for him to swallow. And the way that he operates in terms of his practices, Sunday night when they practice, he said 75% of the night is devoted to special teams, and you've got to make those simple field goals just like that.
Yeah, just pushed it right to the right. And Cody Hawkins back in at quarterback under center. I'm going to assume we're going to see a handoff on this one.
Yeah, and I'm going to assume we're going to see Cody Hawkins all day long. He's that type of guy. He loves these moments. He lives for these moments.
I assumed wrong. He's back to pass, throws it out to the near flat, and that one is incomplete. Intended for Jason Espinoza. You mentioned Cody Hawkins, and you know, a lot of criticism has been heaped upon Cody Hawkins here in Boulder, Colorado. I think a lot of it personally is because of his last name. You mentioned it yesterday. You went back to that press conference, that initial press conference when his father was hired as the head coach.
Yeah, it was great. They were so excited. Are you going to be able to recruit your son? Are we going to get him here to build the program around him as the quarterback, as the cornerstone of this program in its rebuild? They got him, and all of a sudden, it's just like anything when you're a quarterback. If you win, you get all the praise. If you lose, you're going to catch the slack.
Cody Hawkins throws that one out wide, and just over the back shoulder, and that goes incomplete.
You look at Cody Hawkins down there on the field. Him and his receiver were not on the same page. Remember, he's got some young receivers outside of Espinoza and Scotty McKnight, guys that don't have a lot of game time. And when you look at the playbook, you look at what they're seeing on defense all day long, it's essentially man-to-man.
Yeah, you look at the starting lineup for the Wyoming Cowboys, a very experienced group, especially in the secondary. The screen pass out in the flat. They've got wide open space in front of them. And great execution that time with the little screen on the weak side.
A screen is a quarterback's best friend. It all of a sudden slows down that rusher getting up front. Remember, this defensive line from Wyoming, they've known to have some big-time players. Mitch Urain, John Fletcher, guys that are highly touted. You've got to run the screen, slow down that rush a little bit, take a little heat off of Cody.
There's a gain of 16 yards on the play. This is a good way to take the pressure off your quarterback. Cody Hawkins with some pressure, dumps it down. And once again, Hawkins' helmet is rolling around on the football field.
I'll tell you what, we better get the equipment manager out here. We got to get a tighter chin strap for Cody Hawkins. That's the second time that helmet's been off this afternoon.
And the safety valve always is the tight end, especially when he's as talented as Garrett.
This is a simple waggle pass. You're faking a run, you're rolling out, you read high to low, your check down instead of a back being there is your tight end, is who he dumped it down to.
Hawkins with the handoff this time, straight up the middle for Sumler. And Sumler running really strong in the early stages here, and he's been probably their most consistent back. I mean, we mentioned right off the top, Darryl Scott. He was the nation's #1 recruit coming out of high school, a very highly touted player, had over 70 scholarship offers. But Sumler has been the guy that they know is their rock in their offense.
That's right. Got to talk to him after the walkthrough yesterday. I said, what do you do before a game to get prepared? He said, you know what? I just go through every play mentally and think, pound the football, keep my legs moving, and hit the hole as fast as possible.
Sixth play of the drive for Colorado. Sumler credits basketball. I like that as a former basketball guy. They try to get the first down. It looks like it's going to come up a little bit short here on 3rd and 1. Should bring up a 4th and short.
Going to be an interesting call here for the offensive coordinator, Eric Cassou, a really young coordinator, but a guy who's got some good experience, one of the better coordinators you're going to meet around the country in terms of diversifying his offense, and this is what they're doing. Hey, this is an attitude play right here.
I love the fact that there was no hesitation. You're out there, we're going for it on 4th and 1. Handoff to Sumler. He gets stacked up. And it looks like he's going to be short, and Wyoming got the stop. We'll see where the spot is. This is going to be awfully close. And they're going to have to bring up the chains on this one. No, they're not. It's short. 0 gain. Great job defensively, and we mentioned those guys up front. They've been playing so well for Coach Christensen, especially in big number 91, John Fletcher.
This is where the game's going to be won or lost up front. How much penetration can the defensive line get? How much get-off is how they talk in coach speak. How much get-off can that offensive line get? Can they get their hands? Can they get a punch on you, put a body on a body, and move their legs? And right now, it's been a stalemate thus far in the first quarter.
And Fred Givens got a great push off that nose tackle to eat up that offensive line. Here's Benjamin looking to pass, feeling the pressure, and he's brought down in the backfield.
Don't want to get sacked.
Number 59, B.J. Beatty.
When you're in the fringe, this is what this area is called. When you're in the fringe, right around the 40-yard line, 45-yard line, you got a chance to take a shot, especially after a big play, a turnover on downs. You don't want to get sacked because all of a sudden it takes that momentum, the wind out of your sail offensively, especially as a young quarterback in an away game, hostile environment.
And this defense, which is giving up huge yardage in the first 2 games, has come out and they are swarming Wyoming right now. I mean, folks, let's put this into perspective. 2 games for this Colorado defense. They've given up 1,000 yards of total offense. Nationally, that ranks them 109th in the country in defensive yards given up per game. So as much as people criticize Cody Hawkins, this defense has given up big chunks of yards on many plays, and so far they've been staying true to their zones and their assignments, and they're making all the plays they need.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 69, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
All right, Yogi, you told us what Wyoming's keys to success would be. Now time to take a look at the crystal ball you have for Colorado.
Yeah, their fearless predictions. Number 1, get back to basics, and that's what they've done thus far in this game. This happens to every program. Cut the playbook, remain simple, play fast. 2, Follow the Hawkins duo. They love this situation. Their back's against the wall. Everyone's talking bad about them. They love to go up and be the competitors they are and try to lead their team to victory here. And lastly, play with a sense of urgency. And you're seeing it on defense right now. Ron Collins said he wanted to simplify the defense, but still put pressure on them, allow his guys to play fast. With that sense of urgency, defensively, flying to the football, and offensively, tempo, tempo, tempo. It's allowing them to say to themselves, hey, we're Colorado. Let's play like it.
David Leonard on the wide receiver screen picks up just a few. Great job defensively yet again. And Jason Espinoza is back to retrieve the punt. Ideally here, Wyoming would like to pin him deep in their own territory. It's a high punt. And the fair catch is called for and caught at the 14-yard line. So Colorado scored on its opening drive and then turned it over and was unable to get things done on their second. We'll see how they do on their fourth drive on Fox College Sports. The students finally have something to cheer about here in Boulder, Colorado. 7-0, Colorado in the lead. If you call yourself a college football fan, then you've got to get FCS. With over 900, count it, 900 live NCAA events, year-round exclusive club sports coverage, FCS is the place where college never ends. To get FCS, call 1-877-2-GET-FCS or visit us at foxcollegesports.com. Colorado out offensively here, starting their drive just inside the 15-yard line, and we're going to have a false start. So things maybe not looking too pretty here the last two possessions for Colorado offensively, but Samantha Steele on the defensive side of the ball, things have been going extremely well for the Buffs.
Yeah, that's the huge story so far in this game, guys. All week, Coach Collins was talking about the fact that they need to simplify the defense. There were too many schemes, too many substitutions, and guys, to be frank, the guys were confused the last couple of games. I talked to Ray Polk. He said this week they feel like they have better control of what they're doing, are able to read and respond, and Chappelle Brown, no doubt, is a leader out there, guys. Yeah,
and you got to look at Rod Collins, the defensive coordinator here. He's got a pretty good history when you look at what he's done in the Big 12. 2006, they're fourth in the Big 12 versus the run. 2007, they're 31st nationally. Last year, the only school in the Big 12 to not allow over 500 yards in a game. So they've had two unfortunate games early on, but he knows defense. Let's not go crazy out there if you're the fans and all of a sudden start calling for this guy. He knows ball. He's been around it for a while. He needs to simplify the scheme and allow his athletes to run around, just like Samantha said.
Yeah, Stewart just got his first carry of the season. Remember, a year ago, Stewart was a big back for this team. In fact, rushed for over 600 yards. He's been working his way back to the Colorado Buffaloes offensive end and got his first carry. And didn't really go anywhere. The offensive line suddenly not being able to push around this Wyoming defense. And Wyoming started to play with that same aggressive style that we saw against Texas a week ago. That pass out in the flat, incomplete, intended for Scotty McKnight.
And you wonder how Cody Hawkins is feeling right now. He started off the game really accurate, his first few throws. The last two series hasn't been as accurate as he traditionally is. I got to spend a week with him this summer with the Elite 11. He was one of the more accurate guys down there. And I'm talking about the likes of Colton Coy, Chase Daniel, Mark Sanchez. He is an accurate passer. He's got to get his feet under him, get him a little bit of a rhythm, and keep that pressure off him to continue succeeding later on throughout the day. This
is the one thing Colorado doesn't want to see, a 3rd and long situation. And this one is a 3rd and 14. He's got plenty of time. Starting to feel some pressure in the end zone. Flings it out to Jason Espinoza on the near sideline. That one falls incomplete. So it'll be 3 and out for the Colorado Buffaloes, who on their opening possession looked like they were going to be able to establish a solid run attack and a good pass attack. And ever since then, Yogi, they really haven't been able to do much of anything. Yeah, they're having difficulty throwing in the outside lanes, and by that I mean outside the numbers. Remember, there's some good corners over there too. Marcel Gibson and his brother Tayshawn, those are good guys in the secondary. They may have to go back and let's throw the ball down the middle of the field now where they had some early success. A balanced offensive approach so far. 8 rush plays, 8 pass plays, and the 16 total plays for Colorado. Great boot on this one. Leonard catches it. Going to make a couple of moves. Made the first guy miss and brings it across the 45 to the 47. So good field position for Wyoming. And we were talking about Wyoming Cowboys, and you know they've used 2 quarterbacks in the early stages of this season. And Robert Benjamin is off to a slow start here today. Yeah, has not been able to get anything going. You're exactly right. And this is going to be a critical drive. Remember why this offense was created. To spread things out and allow your offensive line, which is probably going to be overmatched by the opponent, to just have to set and punt and just simply get a body on a body and give yourself some throwing lanes as a quarterback. Alvester Alexander gets The fake handoff, in fact, Benjamin takes it, makes a nice pump fake and tries to spin out. And a pickup of about 2.5 on the play for Benjamin. Now, Vester Alexander, they love to line him up in the slot. He's a good receiving running back out of the backfield, and that time a little misdirection.
And I'll tell you what, you look at a guy named B.J. Beatty, number 59 for Colorado. He's been all over the field today. He's a backer, but they like putting him on the line of scrimmage and run around and cause a little havoc. Your dad played at BYU. He loves being a backer, getting his hands on a lot of people. One of the more entertaining guys in this defense.
Yeah, and Marquez Herrard just ate up Robert Benjamin. A great job by the left end.
This defense for Colorado is doing exactly what they were hoping they would do, which is play really fast and get off the football. It helps when you're at home. It helps when you're in the confines of your environment. These guys are confident. They get to play in front of their fans. They know they have to come out and start fast.
A great job by Herrard to shed the blocker. And great pressure again on Robert Benjamin, and that time the pass a little bit behind his wide receiver, and it falls incomplete.
What you're seeing right now by Colorado in the defense is they are rushing the front four and potentially bringing a fifth guy off the edge, bringing one of their outside linebackers and dropping everybody else in coverage and daring Robert Benjamin and that Wyoming offense to throw it down the field. Remember, they've seen this offense before. Coach Christensen has been at Missouri the past few years. They've seen it. They're accustomed to these spreads. They know they have a great game plan going into it. Let's see if this quarterback, who's only played 2 collegiate games, can do something and pick them apart.
Orlando Arnold was open. The pass low and behind him. That's what's created the incomplete. They're going with the fake punt. Special teams has been huge for Wyoming. Tries to get to the first down marker, and he's knocked out 2 yards short.
When you look at this fake punt, really well designed. And when you look at the spread punt and the rugby tight punt, what allows this team to do, number one, is there's no kick slide for your offensive line. There's no stab and go. They get to be naturally athletic and do natural movements. That's what happened there. Unfortunately, they missed by a few yards. Not a bad call. I kind of like it. They need to get something going. And hey, you're a first-time head coach. You're playing in the Big 12. Take a shot. Give your guys a little juice. You look down to that sideline right now. It's not very energetic.
Yeah, and Weston Johnson, a better block there, and they probably pick up the first down for Wyoming. Instead, it's Colorado with great field position, the best field position they've had since their opening drive. Hawkins back to pass. He threw it 64 times against Toledo. This one well ahead of his wide receiver, and it'll fall incomplete. And listen to the reaction of this crowd.
Well, what you're seeing right now is Colorado's opening up their playbook. They're going to take some shots downfield. They kind of have to going against this secondary, and especially these corners. They're traditionally off. They traditionally dare you to throw deep and play very deep in coverage. What I think you're going to see as this coordinator goes on throughout this game is continue to run those clear out routes, get those safeties deep, and drop it underneath them in those intermediate ranges.
Completing 50% of his passes for 54 yards so far is Cody Hawkins, and surprising the Boo Birds are out with a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter, but that's how much pressure is being applied to the Colorado Buffaloes team from this fan base here in Boulder.
Yeah, they are, and rightfully so. They want to win games here. Colorado's got a great history, a great tradition.
Well, Yogi, we look across straight from us. What do we see? 1990 national champions. So you're dealing with a program here.
Holding, number 63 of the offense. Penalty be 10 yards. Still second down.
That'll back them up 10 yards. It'll still be second down, but you're looking at a program here that expects to compete not only for conference championships, but they expect to be in the ballpark at least for a national championship, and right now this program is just not there.
You're exactly right. 61 first-team All-Americans, 23 conference titles, Rashawn Salam, Cordell Stewart, 2 Thorpe Award winners, 2 Butkus Award winners. They've got tradition here, but that's the beauty of the game. You should be somewhat upset when your team isn't playing great. That's why we love to celebrate college football. There is that pressure.
And you understand that pressure as good as anybody. A nice pass out into the flat. That's Lockridge with the reception. And he's a very talented young back. I remember watching him play out in California at Mission Viejo High School, the same high school that Mark Sanchez went to. Let's throw it down to Sam Steele. Sam?
Yeah, guys, you can't miss number 78, 6'9", Nate Solder. Guys, as a redshirt freshman, he played tight end and actually ran down the field on kickoff. In the spring, he ran a 4.6. And you want to know what he wants to do after football? He wants to be a large animal vet. He could practice on Ralphie, don't you think?
He's bigger than Ralphie. That's the problem. You're talking 6'9", 305. 8.3% body fat. This one out in the flat, Scotty McKnight catches it. It'll be a first down for Colorado.
When we talk about Nate Soldier, I was talking to an NFL scout before the game. He said he is the one guy up front that is a bona fide NFL prospect. A young individual, very great feet. He's very athletic. He's got the potential to fill out even more as his career continues.
Yeah, and you mentioned the converted tight end, so he's still learning the position. You know, learning how to be, there's a great difference between being a tight end that has to block on run plays versus being an offensive lineman.
Yep, you're exactly right. And it's going to be fun to watch him all day long. That's the most important position. It's Cody Hawkins' best friend, that left tackle.
So the guy's going to protect his backside. So first down for Colorado. 3 minutes left to go here in the first, and a handoff right up the middle, and it's Stewart.
And they're getting a good push up front right now. 3-4 yards a carry. And what that zone running scheme allows you to do as a back is read the defensive lineman. What is the guy right on the center doing? What is the individual right on the guard and tackle doing? Watch him as he reads this. He goes to the right. All of a sudden, he finds his seam, cut back, 3-4 yards, fall forward. That's exactly what this zone scheme is built to do.
Well, and the biggest thing, too, to help out Cody Hawkins is to establish a balanced offense. Don't give yourself second and long, third and long situations where the defense can pin its ears back and come after you. Because you see the Wyoming Cowboys, as much as we focused on Colorado so far in the early stages of this game, this Wyoming defense more than held its own against Colt McCoy and the Texas Longhorns in the first half of that contest. They're 6th best in the country in turnover margin. They'll give up some yards, but they'll make some plays defensively that'll suck the life right out of you.
You're exactly right. Marty English is the one holdover from the previous staff, and they kept him because they wanted to run the same defense and play really fast with the personnel they had. They're not afraid to blitz, and that's what the 3-4 affords you to do. You can pressure from a variety of areas and make it difficult on the offensive line and the quarterback in terms of identifying who is who in the defense.
Hawkins back to pass. Looks to the big tight end. It's complete. It'll be good for a first down, but there is a penalty flag down on the field. Looks in the area of holding. We'll see what the official has for us.
Personal foul, illegal leg whip, number 71 of the offense. Penalties 15 yards from the previous spot. Still third down.
And that's one of those penalties you really don't want to have.
Yeah, and you look at Matt Barr. You know, he's going to rotate in and out at guard today. There's some changes up front late in the week with Ryan Miller moving to right tackle. Blake Behrens going over to right guard and rotating in with Barr. He's a young player. He's going to do everything he can, and every once in a while you get caught up in one of those moments.
You know, Coach Hawkins told us when we spoke with him earlier this week, we're 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 plays away from being a really good football team, even in our 0-2 loss. Instead of being a first down, it is now 3rd and 19. That's one of those plays that you hold that image, keep it in your mind. If they don't get this first down here and Wyoming's able to come back down and do something offensively, that one penalty alone can change the demeanor of this game.
That's exactly right. And coaches go back, and on Sunday they'll watch the game tape and think that exact thought. We're a play away here, a play away there. We don't get penalized here, we don't get penalized there, and all of a sudden things can change, and that changes the complex of the game.
Timeout being called by Colorado. We'll take this time to let you know that you need to tune in next week on Fox College Sports, September 26th. As Yogi and myself, we head back to the Bay Area, Palo Alto, California, where the Washington Huskies will take on the Stanford Cardinal at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Catch Pac-10 football next Saturday on Fox College Sports. I know you're real excited about that one. Yogi, I mean, we haven't really built you up enough yet. You know, former quarterback assistant coach at USC. That means you might know the head guy pretty well at the University of Washington. Big game for them today against the team that you were coaching for last year.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to Coach Sarkisian all week long. He's one of my close friends, and he is very excited for this game and the season. He's changed the culture up in Seattle, and we've seen it in their first 2 games thus far.
And Jim Harbaugh did an outstanding job at Stanford.
Yeah, I was around for one of those tough losses at SC.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right.
You're only favored by 41. Cody Hawkins scrambling, pressure coming. He sees Scotty McKnight, great job. Scotty Keith balances his tightrope, walks the sideline, picks up an extra couple of yards, but that's the relationship those two guys have.
You're exactly right, and these guys came in together. They came together to Colorado for this sole reason. Hey, let's play pitch and catch, and let's play ball. They're two scrappy young men. They love to play like this. This is basic backyard football. Let me run around, scramble a little bit, let me deal it out to you. This is where Cody Hawkins loves to get. Get me on the run, let me get some open space, and find my receiver, and if it's 21, he's my go-to guy every time.
So 3rd and 18 and a 28-yard completion for Colorado. In motion this time, and a great move by Stewart, picks up about 8 on the carry, and they're deep inside the red zone, and this is where Cody Hawkins really flourishes on his career.
He really does, and there's a few options he has as he gets into this red zone. Do you throw it outside your 2 receivers? I don't expect them to do that here. They haven't had much success against these corners, but all practice Thursday, they were utilizing their tight end when they got down here in the red zone. Like you mentioned, this season 100% down in the red zone and scoring opportunities.
5-0 is Cody Hawkins. We'll check in with Samantha Steele right after this play. Hawkins over center, 2nd and 2. Hand off to Sumler, straight up the middle. He's got a little bit more of a lane and brings it all the way down to the 6-yard line. Samantha?
Guys, you saw Rodney Stewart, or Speedy as they like to call him, out there on that last one. He was not even recruited out of high school in Ohio. Coach Hagan actually found him in Ohio, brought him over here. Guys, he's only 5'6", but he can straight up block backers. This kid could end up being the next Darren Sproles.
I asked him yesterday after the walkthrough, Samantha, hey, what do you like when you see Sumler out there in pass protection? He says, well, I kind of like to be out there in pass protection. I want to hit somebody in the mouth as well.
That's the mentality you need, guys.
Well, the mentality's looking good so far in the first quarter for Colorado. They're on the move again. Already up 7-0 over Wyoming. We'll see if the defense of the Cowboys can keep them out of the end zone next here on Fox College Sports. 7-0 as we start the second quarter. Colorado on the move offensively. This will be the 9th play of the drive. So far, very balanced on this drive. 4 runs, 4 passes, 48 yards, and 4 minutes and 33 seconds. We'll see if Cody Hawkins and the Buffaloes can add to their lead as we start the second quarter. Stewart tries to go up the middle. Very little there. Brings it to about the 5-yard line.
When you get down in the red zone, you want to try to pound the football. Get down there, it's an attitude thing. It's a tempo thing. Let's see if we can build our rhythm and let Wyoming know, hey, we can run the football. We're bigger, we're stronger, we're faster, and get that mentality when you're down here, because it only sets up your play action, your short passes to the tight end.
Those big guys up front, too, if you make a commitment to the run, it's like feeding their ego. It's like taking them to training table and saying, fellas, anything you want, carte blanche, go ahead. The handoff to Sumler. Sumler bounces off of a tackle, brings it all the way down to about the 3-yard line. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 3 from the 3-yard line. How important would it be for Colorado? How much of a statement would it be for their fans and this team to make to their fans to come out here, punch it in, be up 14-0 over Wyoming to start the second quarter?
It's absolutely huge. And you look right now, the personnel they're in, they call that jumbo personnel. That means basically all their big guys. What you can do here is one of 2 things. You're either going to pound the ball and follow this offensive line, but don't be shocked if you see a little play action right here. Oh, we got a fumble.
Hawkins picks it back up. He throws it away. It'll go out of bounds. That'll bring up a 4th down situation, which means the field goal unit will be taking the field. So a little disappointment there for Colorado. I mean, they dominated the first quarter. We saw time of possession laying heavily upon the sides. And you look at Cody, it just simply slipped out of his hands.
Yeah, it did. And this is a great play call. I like it because the tight end's back is wide open in the back end of the end zone there. Would have been a touchdown. Unfortunate it happened for Cody. You got to wonder, did that hit early on in the game affect him at all?
Eric Goodman set to kick the field goal. What a story he's been so far this year. That one is up and good. You talk about Eric Goodman. He's a guy that almost lost his job a year ago. We'll talk more about Eric Goodman as Cody Hawkins will sit there and wonder what would have happened if I could have held on to that ball. Well, 10-0 Colorado lead here on Fox College Sports. 12-play drive, 51 yards, results in an Eric Goodman field goal, 3 for 4 on the year, and it's 10-0 Colorado as we are set to kick off. Marcel Gibson back to return it for the Cowboys. Cowboys really had nothing going offensively in the first quarter. Goodman's kick is a little short. Received at about the 12. Gibson looking for a lane, spins off, and it's got some. Brings it across the 25 to the 28-yard line, and that's where the Cowboys will set up their offense. Let's check in with Samantha Steele.
Guys, you saw Eric Goodman kick off there. This kid has been hyped on the sidelines, and I realize it's probably because of the fact that he actually started as the kicker at Wyoming his freshman year. Had some issues there in the Virginia game, missed a big kick to win the game, decided he wanted to transfer, came over here now, and that's something to be said for some motivation, right?
Yep, and we've got a change at quarterback for the Wyoming Cowboys, and hopefully that'll motivate the Cowboys offense. Austin Carter-Samuels throws that one in short on the far sideline, almost picked off.
When you look at the freshman out of San Jose, against Weber State, played the whole second quarter. Against Texas, didn't play until very late in the game. The good thing about this young man is that he is the more accurate passer. And this offensive staff at Wyoming, they know that. And I think they get a sense for this game right now. We've got to be able to be a little more accurate.
Oh, and we've got a fumble. There's a fumble on the play after the huge hit by number 42, Benjamin Burney. And he absolutely just lit up Terry.
A real exciting play for Colorado. And you can see it right here. Gonna put his head down and simply just tee off on this guy, and all of a sudden the ball is on the ground, and this is how you win games. This is how you gain momentum. Tempo, 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 turnovers. Good things start to happen for your program.
Well, good things happening so far from the defense of Colorado. I love to hear the crowd of college football, the sights, smells, the sound of it all. Even the day before, we'll be bringing you that at halftime. You're going to want to make sure you see all the things that Samantha Steele went through yesterday.
Now, after a turnover, this is a chance right now in the red zone to take a shot at this defense.
Cody Hawkins rolling out. Pass is complete to Espinoza. He fumbles it on the turf. He picks it right back up. We'll see who has it. It looks like it should be still Colorado's ball. So a couple of sloppy plays. I mean, go back to the last possession. Cody Hawkins lets the ball slip out of his hands. Then we have a fumble for the Wyoming Cowboys after the field goal, and then this time Espinoza makes the catch.
They're not putting it together. You're exactly right. They're not putting it together right now. Even on that last play, there's penetration by the defensive line. A defender in Cody Hawkins' face. The receiver makes a nice catch, puts it on the turf. You can't allow those things to happen when you're trying to gain momentum, especially in the red zone. 2nd and 7 for the Buffaloes. Hawkins with the handoff. Stewart's got a lane. He's very quick. Gets there and picks up the first down, takes it all the way near the 15-yard line. A big play, and with Scott being out, it's so important that Stewart is back in this offense. As Samantha Steele said earlier about this young man, he's Darren Sproles-esque. Yeah, he is. He's a very flashy player. The guys love him on the program.
He gets it done, and good to see him back running well again. He led the Buffaloes with over 600 yards rushing a year ago. And you mentioned he was a diamond in the rough. But sometimes you got to find those guys. They make a program.
That's right. They're doing a great job of running left right now, following that big tackle, Nate Soldier.
Hand off to Stewart again. Spins off 2 tacklers. He's got some room, and he's looking for the end zone. He's going to come up just a little bit short. But a great run that time by Stewart.
Yeah, and it's an excellent run by a guy that the team absolutely loves. The coaches rave about him. The players rave about him. He understands the patience you need as a running back in this zone scheme. He says, hey, I love to hit the hole, but I still have to read it. And that's what you do as a running back, especially when you have the ability to make plays like this young man does.
And the low center of gravity is something we see running backs, they use to their advantage. Maurice Jones-Drew, product out of UCLA, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He made a living off of keeping the ball down low, and they make a living of getting back in the end zone. And Stewart finishing it off. And the Buffaloes get back in there.
A big surprise for them. Broke his leg against Texas A&M, dealing with hamstring, thigh issues all season long thus far. And for him to come back and score a touchdown, I guarantee, Samantha, on that sideline, there is not a bigger smile on anybody's face other than his.
He is set for the extra point. Eric Goodman ready to put it through the uprights. See, make it this game 17-0. Kick is up, and it's good. And Colorado has has surged to the front. 17-0. It was a 4-play, 27-yard drive. Most points they've scored in the first half so far this season. Keep it right here on Fox College Sports. Wyoming struggling right now offensively and defensively to stop the Colorado Buffaloes 17-0 here in the second quarter. And Colorado Buffaloes athletic program is a very proud one, including one of the very best in track and field, and she's with our Samantha Steele.
Yes, she is, and I think she's probably the most talented athlete on this field right now. This is Jenny Behringer. You broke 6 NCAA records this last year, and you're the American record holder in steeplechase. You think any of these guys could take you out here?
Well, you know, it takes quite a collection of skills, and I know these guys work hard every day, but between the skills and the lean physique, I'm not really sure they could take me.
Now, what's it like being the most talented person on this campus? You gotta be pretty popular, right?
Well, I mean, it's really fun being able to go in the classroom and be a student, but it's even more fun walking in the athletic department, and even the football players and the basketball players are proud of what I do. We really are a family, and it's really, really fun to see them get involved with what I do and appreciate what I do.
Well, congratulations. Continued success in your senior season.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Guys, are you jealous? Do you want some of that talent to rub off on you?
Well, I've never one to run anywhere unless it's on a hardwood court. So, yeah, no, the idea of running through water and jumping over steeples doesn't excite me all that much. How about you, Yogi?
No, I'm a big fan of watching it and saying, maybe someday, but just not today.
Yeah, you're more into skydiving than anything else. Meanwhile, on that kickoff, great coverage by Colorado after a bobble on the kickoff. It puts Wyoming really in the hole. And here we are with 11:24 left to go in the second quarter, and Wyoming doesn't have a first down yet. They might have just picked one up. That's the first down of the game so far for the Wyoming Cowboys, and once again, it's Austin Carter-Samuels in at quarterback for the Cowboys. And all right, very simple question. How do you light a fire underneath this offense for the Wyoming Cowboys?
Well, I think the first thing you do is put in this other quarterback. He's a more accurate passer, and right now you've had a few people open, but you haven't hit the wide receivers, and that's what this quarterback allows you to do.
Tries to thread it and put it right on the numbers, but it's dropped.
At the end of the day, if you want to move the football in a game like this, when your backs are against the wall, deep in your own territory, you better make plays, and you have to step up and rise to the occasion. It's not going to happen on its own, and you can look at the Texas game as an example. They did well on special teams. They played well on defense. Offensively, they did not have much success, specifically on third down, which they're struggling again today.
Moving up 2nd and 10. Pass out to Leonard in the flat, and he's eaten up right away.
Leonard, their most consistent receiver, a big target at 6'4", 197 out of Kansas. He's got good quickness, he can punt return, he's got good hands, but at the end of the day, he's not a big-time threat. In Colorado, I guarantee you, is not threatened by his speed. They say, hey, go underneath, try to make those plays, and we'll tack you and wrap up.
LaGrone Shields, the big defensive end, worked his way all the way down the line of scrimmage to make that play. That one is complete in the flat. Not going to be good enough for a first down. Should be about a pickup of 7 on the play. Bring up a 4th and 3, so it'll be a punting situation once again for Wyoming.
And I'll tell you what, this is their nickel package for Colorado. Jaleel Brown comes in, and he plays that cornerback position. A great job by him in their coverage of letting the receiver he was on initially, who went inside, let him go, and understand that someone is about to replace him on the outside. He filled nicely, made the tackle. Colorado football.
All right, a punting situation now. Austin McCoy out for the punt. Jason Espinoza set to return it. Yeah, we're not going to see a fake, not in this position. Espinoza gets the catch, though. Will try to make the first guy miss, and does. Spins back to the opposite field, but gets brought down from behind right across the 45-yard line to the 46. And that's where Colorado will set up shop, up 17-0 over the Wyoming Cowboys here in the second quarter in Boulder, Colorado. Nothing in the second quarter back here at Folsom Field. It's been an absolutely beautiful day. Love the hats. Samantha's got to get one of those hats before we leave here today. By the way, college sports fans get exclusive access to the latest from FCS by being a fan of Fox College Sports on Facebook. For the latest clips, news, and behind-the-scenes pictures from all of our FCS events, log on to Facebook now. Yogi, they got a picture of you up there yet?
Not yet, but I'm a Facebook fan. I'll have to hop on there later on, check it out. put a picture of that new haircut you got on there.
It looks sweet. Almost as sweet as Stewart has looked his first game back. You asked me before the game what I thought he might bring to the table today. I said about 12 carries, maybe 65 yards. He's well on his way, picked up 6 on first down.
Yeah, they're not afraid to feature this guy in a variety of areas, whether it's on screens, runs up the middle, draws, etc. You see him right here. The beautiful thing about him is that he's got that burst through the hole. You can't teach that, you can't coach it, but you can recruit it, and they stole this guy out of Ohio to do that.
All right, you also mentioned earlier in this week, changing up how they practice, what they do. It's a flip of the mind switch for Colorado.
You're exactly right. And Tuesday, they practiced for an extra hour. Why? Because they wanted to get back to basics, get back to football. What makes you successful? Run, catch, block, tackle. They came out of Tuesday very excited. They said it was the best Tuesday of the year.
Trying to play clean football, but it's a delay of game. That'll back it up 5 yards and make it a 2nd and 9. So that eats up a majority of Stewart's carry. And Coach Hawkins is probably not going to be too pleased about that one.
No, it's not. And you look at the scenario of how the quarterback gets the plays from the sideline. The backup quarterbacks are the ones that signal into Cody Hawkins with the offensive coordinator, Eric Kiesau, up in the booth.
5 penalties so far for Colorado on the game, 41 yards. They've been set back via penalties. So Hawkins over center. It's Lockridge in motion. Back to pass. He's got plenty of time. Sees Lockridge down the seam and just slips right through his hands. That ball was right there.
I'll tell you what, they really like putting Lockridge out. They said, while he's listed as a running back, he is a wide receiver type player. You split him out to the right, you see pressure coming from Wyoming. They come off the edge. A great job by Cody Hawkins stepping up in the pocket and dealing to his receiver. He either got to lay out or make a play. Coming as a former receiver.
Yeah, you're a former wide receiver, so should he caught that ball?
Yeah, there's a simple rule. If it touches your fingers, catch the rock. You got to make these plays, especially when you get a play action opportunity like this. Cody can step up in the pocket and make a big play. You've got to capitalize, and that's the way you kind of rebound as a program. Get a little more excitement. You can't miss out on those opportunities.
Hawkins back to pass. It's 3rd and long. These are the situations they want to avoid, but they are 3 for 5 today. Hawkins feeling the pressure, and he throws that one away.
Once again, just kind of beat up front. They do a nice job for Wyoming, pressuring with their guys up the front. Right there, that was John Fletcher, number 91. He's on the Lombardi watch list. He's a guy, he said, last year, I went from playing 4 snaps and taking 2 off to now my conditioning has gotten so much better where I'm playing 8 snaps for every 2 I get to take off.
You know, it's interesting talking to an NFL scout. His motor's got to improve, though, even still. I mean, he has that much potential. If he can turn it on and keep this thing going, Fletcher could be a pro.
Yeah, he could.
2nd punt of the day. Leonard gets it, takes it right down at the 19-yard line. And the Cowboys need to get their offense going. They've been efficient. They haven't turned it over, except for that one fumble that led to a touchdown. We'll see if they get anything going this time.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in our coverage on FSN.
The team I'm always good for. You know, the Oregon Ducks have 48 uniforms. All right, that might be an exaggeration, but they have some of the funky looking uniforms I've ever seen. I mean, those things are ugly, they're hideous, and some of them look really good. These ones, it's throwback, it's traditional. I like it a lot. The color scheme is simple, and you'll notice too on the field, as if we can get a wide shot of the field, guys, it's different today. There's no Ralphie in the middle of it. The end zones aren't painted like they normally are, where you see a Colorado and a Buffalo on one end. And because of that, hey, look, we turn back the clock, and we have the youngest broadcasting crew maybe in the history of college football on the call today.
That's right. You got to look at yourself, man. The old school, the veteran of this team right now. You played hoops at UCLA. Around John Wooden, real basics. That's what wins games, and right now you're seeing it in Colorado.
Look, put your socks on the right way, tie your shoelaces the right way, and it helps you out. That's a complete pass, good for 9 yards for the Cowboys, and Cowboys desperately need to get some momentum going here with about 4:30 left to go before we get to the break.
And you could tell on the sideline the coach is a little frantic. They're signaling in much faster than they did earlier in the game. They're trying to get a little tempo, get this quarterback, this young freshman, a little bit of a rhythm.
Handoff on the far sideline, picks up the 1st down. That'll stop the clock momentarily.
Biggest thing if you're a quarterback right now, get me the play, let me tell it to the offense, and assess this defense. You want to get to the line of scrimmage as quickly as possible. What's the defensive front? What are the backers doing? What's the shell of the secondary? Is it too high? Are there 2 safeties? Is there 1 safety? Is it pressed on the outside? And then make your decision.
Handoff again, this time coming to the near side and upended right away. A big hit that time.
When you look at this spread offense, there aren't a lot of runs that you have. They've been running this somewhat of an inside sweep a few times this afternoon. Had some success. They're getting 3, 4, maybe 6 yards every time. I think we'll continue to see this trend, and as well as the quarterback throwing some out routes.
It's important to try to get something established here for a team that really hasn't had a lot of good. There's an offside penalty. It's a free play for Wyoming. There's a jump on the far sideline. Chappelle Brown coming up.
Offsides, number 29 defense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Chappelle Brown just once again get a little too excited. We'll talk about him a lot later on, but one thing I find amazing, and you mentioned I played basketball, he dropped 50 in a high school basketball game, and even at his small stature of 5'7", can get up and dunk. Can you dunk? You're about the same size.
Yeah, I could dunk the small ball. I can never get the big guy down. It was kind of a layup, touch the rim type thing.
B.J. Beatty with a huge smack on Stewart.
Really good tempo right now by this Wyoming offense. They have a sense of urgency, and you need that. You want to get back in this ball game.
Handoff again to Stewart. Tries to go up the middle, nothing going there.
Now what they're definitely doing is setting up, faking that run, the quarterback keeping it, and taking a shot downfield. They've done it 3 times on this drive.
Colorado's defense staying close to home. They're not getting out of position, not nearly as much. Look at how many wideouts you see. 5 on your screen. Pass in the flat, it's complete. Brought down about 2 yards shy of the 1st down. Chris McNeil on the reception, the 6'1" freshman out of Simi Valley, California.
Colorado staying in their nickel defense, and what they do in their nickel, remember, Chappelle Brown starts to cover the slot, allows them to match up against those receivers inside.
Well, this is the danger of the no-huddle offense. Once you start getting a little bit of momentum, that defense has to stay out there. You can't bring guys in and out. You can wear them down a little bit, and the freshman is playing with some good composure right now for Wyoming. And that one was a complete misread. Quarterback thought in, receiver went out. Who's at fault on this one?
Well, it's a miscommunication. I mean, you're probably going to put the blame on the quarterback. He's got to be responsible for every single call, and especially in this no-huddle rhythmic offense, you're getting your plays and you're changing your plays from the sideline. You've got to communicate to every one of those wide receivers.
Especially on a play that was 3rd and 2. So it's 4th and 2 with 2:29 left to go. Espinosa's deep in his territory.
And you wonder, should he have gone for that one on 4th down? Are they having a little rhythm? Are they trying to get something going on offense?
I think they're afraid to get the ball back to Colorado and give them good field position. Instead, this one will go all the way back inside the 10. So nice punt that time by McCoy. You've seen her talking with fans around the stadium. Now chat with Sam anytime on Twitter with the username SamOnFCS. Sam will be tweeting all season long, letting us know what she's working on and discussing the latest in college football. Just log on to twitter.com and you can follow Sam now. I'm going to start following Sam as soon as I get home, because I myself am I'm a big tweeter.
Yeah, as am I. I'll tell you what, if I was going to tweet her to Samantha right now, I'd say, hey, the interior offensive line for Colorado needs to play better. They're getting manhandled up front, and that's what's allowing that pressure inside on Cody Hawkins when he's trying to roll out.
Stewart trying to bounce it to the outside, cuts right back into the middle, pickup of about 3-yard line. So 3-yard gain will bring up 2nd and 7.
It's always interesting here as a coaching staff. What are you going to do in the 2-minute drill? Well, you're backed up. You want to run the football. And if you could bust a run out, then all of a sudden they'll go 3 wides, 2-minute offense. But if not, I wouldn't be surprised to see Colorado just try to pound the football, get it out from their own territory, and punt it away and get into halftime. Good job swarming defensively. That's one thing the Wyoming Cowboys have done an excellent job all year long. Don't give you an awful lot after you get the catch, and if they get a paw on you, they don't usually let you loose. Same thing happens that time. A nice job defensively again, coming up and filling the gap. How imperative is that for a team that is struggling offensively right now to have a defense that isn't going to give you a lot of yak
yard after catch, or give you something after the first contact on a rushing.
Well, it's everything, and that's why Marty English was retained from that old staff. Let's not change up the entire program. We got an entirely different offense. They share the same philosophies in terms of the head coach, Coach Christensen, and Marty English. He thought it was a good fit, allowing his defense to play discipline, to hit their run fits, hit their pass fits, and play very solid defensive football.
Stewart's got a little bit of a lane. He takes it to the outside. He's brought down immediately by Shamil Gary. We haven't talked about Shamil so much today, but he made a lot of headlines nationally in week 1 where he had 3 interceptions to start the season and was actually co-national defensive player of the week along with Raheem Moore out of UCLA, who also had 3 interceptions in their week 1 game. But he's a playmaker. He's got good football savvy.
You're exactly right. Out of Oklahoma, out of Tulsa, you talk to the staff, describe this player for me. You only need to tell him something once, and he just is reactionary to that instantly.
So the first down for the Buffaloes. Hand off to Stewart, and he gets lit up right away at the line. Gabe Napton met him right there. He does an excellent job covering sideline to sideline. That's what the coaches told us. He had a great redshirt freshman season, and now he's out there making some plays.
And that should be the half. And while the fans may want to see a 2-minute drill, offensively for Colorado, great job. You're up 17-0. Your first lead of the year, like you said early on. You're playing sound football. And really, you can have a few more scores if you didn't hurt yourself. You missed a few throws, a few penalties.
Well, and you look at it as the clock expires here, you know, you're deep in your own territory. You're up 17-0. Hand the ball off a couple times. If you break a long one, yeah, maybe you take a shot. But no need to risk an interception or a big play that would give Wyoming any kind of life to go to the break yet. And if you're Colorado on this field right now with these fans who all week long have been putting this program under attack, as the athletic director described it in the newspaper today, I certainly think that Coach Hawkins has got to be real pleased that he's with Sam Still.
Coach, your D is swarming. You're establishing the running game. Did something change in practice this week, or does it just take some time?
No, not at all. We should be way farther ahead here. We're leaving a lot of points on the board. Our D's playing great. Offensively, keep shooting ourselves in the foot. It's always the little things in life. It's always the little things in football.
All right, we'll let you get in there. Thanks, Coach.
Samantha, great job, and you hear it. I love it. I love that intensity. You're up 17-0. You hadn't led for 1 second of your first 2 games. And what does Coach Hawkins say at the half? We left points on the board. We'll see if that fire that the coach has will translate into more points in the second half, or will the Cowboys be able to respond and get off the mat? They've been knocked down, but they're not knocked out. It's right here, Wyoming, Colorado, 17-0 at the break.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in our coverage on FSN.
17-0, getting set for the kickoff of the third quarter. Head coach Dave Christensen on the sideline with Sam Still.
Coach, obviously slow going on offense. Are they throwing something at you on defense that you weren't expecting?
No, not at all. We're just not playing very good on offense right now, and we're going to stick with Austin in the second half and see if we can't make some throws. And you know, we got to have guys catch the football too. It's one of those deals that you know, you throw the ball in the right spot, guys got to catch it. Particularly when you're struggling, you know, you got to make some things happen. So we'll go out second half, get the ball started second half. We got to get some drive put together.
Great, Coach. Thanks. Back to you guys.
All right, we are set for kickoff here in the second half. And you know, first of all, Coach said 2 things there. One, guy's got to make plays. But the second thing, he's going with the freshman second half. Is that going to be the right move?
I think it's exactly the right move. His quarterback, Benjamin, he didn't get a good start, didn't find his rhythm. All of a sudden, you throw in the youngster, the freshman out of San Jose, California, and he finds his rhythm. I think when you look at this offense for Wyoming coming out on this first drive, it's always huge for an offense. Where are we? Kind of clean the slate. We need to find our tempo, find that rhythm, and I think you're going to look at him. And when you look down to the sideline, a play's coming into the quarterback, it's going to be within a sense of urgency, and that's exactly what they need to have success.
Marcel Gibson returned it across the 15 to the 17-yard line, and that's where the freshman will take over in the shotgun formation. Handoff to Stewart.
Talking to Chase Daniel earlier this week, talking about this offense, and he said, hey, you got to give it a little time, a little bit of patience for it to seep into this entire offensive football team. And remember, we talked about it earlier, 47 new faces on this football program since spring practice ended, not since Coach Christensen took over.
With that becomes a growing experience, and here's Austin Carter Samuels with the biggest play of the day for the Cowboys. And the freshman able to use his legs to pick up good yardage and a first down for the Cowboys.
Sometimes freshmen, they don't know enough, right? They just got to go play ball. They need to run around and make a play that can fire up not only themselves and give them that confidence, but also his teammates. You look at the sideline going nuts after this. He tucks it, he runs, he's not going to slide. He's going to try to get as much as he can. And those moments will get your offensive line to play harder, your receivers to make plays, and for your offense to potentially take a run at this Colorado team in the second half.
Hand off to Alexander, and he's stuffed right away. That was a 19-yard pickup, by the way, by Austin Carter Samuels, and we have a late penalty flag for extracurricular activities on the field.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 60 of the offense. Penalty will be 15 yards. Second down.
Did you hear that balloon just pop? The air seeping out of it. You come out, you start to get some momentum, and a personal foul, again, extracurricular activities, that's a backbreaker.
Yeah, and that's Nick Carlson, the freshman out of Arlington Heights in Illinois. He's a youngster, he's gray-shirted, spent just in the classroom, so he's been around the program for a little while. He's in a big-time environment, played solid last week, and it's disappointing for that staff. But here they go, dropping back, and Carter Samuel is going to take a shot.
He's got his wide receiver on the sideline and just overthrows him. A good ball that time, though, by the freshman as he was on the move.
Yeah, when you're a receiver, there's one line you always say. It's, I'm open, throw me the rock. If you say that to your quarterback, you got to go up and be the playmaker you tell yourself and tell your quarterback you're going to be. To be in games like this, to have a chance to come back down 17-0, make the play. I said it earlier, if you're a wideout and your hand gets on the football, you got to come down with it. And that's a play. It would have been a tough catch, but that's what your job is, and that's what you get paid to do, to be a wideout.
0 for 7 on third downs in the game for Wyoming. They came into the game with just 18% on third down. So far today, it has not been good, and they're not going to get it done this time either, except for you're going to get an automatic first down for the late hit on the sideline. That's just a lack of concentration that time by John Major.
Yeah, John Major, he is a highly recruited kid out of Parker, Colorado.
Personal foul, late hit on a quarterback. Number 31 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
This is a prime-time example of a young, high-profile recruit coming into a situation, a home game, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, not really understanding and having the awareness of where the sideline is. It could be a questionable call, but remember, if you're an official, you're always going to bear on the side of protecting the quarterback.
Yeah.
You see it in the NFL, you see it in collegiate football.
And it's almost getting to the point where you can't hit the quarterback, but nevertheless, that's the 8th penalty for Colorado. 66 yards worth of penalties on the Buffaloes today, and it keeps the drive going. The handoff to Stewart right up the middle. He picks up about 3, which will bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Cowboys. And you know, that's one of those mental mistakes that you can't afford to have if you're Colorado. Look, you're up 17-0. But as Coach Hawkins said before the break, as he's leaving the field at halftime, look, we left points on the board. We want to come out, we got to have that same fire and that same intensity. A mental mistake like that gives the Cowboys hope when they should have been punting.
Yeah. And it's going to be a teachable moment on Sunday, but today it's horrible for that defensive staff and that linebacker crew, especially with how well they've played thus far.
Nobody's over there, and the freshman quarterback is by himself, but he lays it out and just off the hands.
What's really exciting about this quarterback is that he's not known for his mobility like Benjamin, but he's making plays with his legs. To be a great quarterback and move in the pocket, you don't necessarily need to be a 4 or 5 guy. You need to be able to make quick, decisive decisions and movements. You see him? He's in the pocket. It collapses. Let me get outside. When I scramble, you're taught. Get your eyes downfield, potentially looking for a receiver. Had a shot right there. He's a few inches off on a couple big plays thus far to open the second half.
And Greg Bowling, the wide receiver, just coming off of suspension. Back in the mix offensively for the Cowboys. Pressure all over the place. That pass is tipped up and almost intercepted.
And that's a timing thing. I mean, when you look at out routes, any type of out route, a lot of offenses around the country don't even allow that to be in their package because it's such a rhythmic throw. This is not a hitch. This is not a slant where everybody pretty much runs it 3 steps, stop, 3 steps, turn in. When you're running an out route, it's very difficult to find a rhythm and find your receiver and your timing. And especially, I would put money on it that this quarterback has probably only thrown that route to that receiver maybe 3, 4, 5 times at the most since he's been in training camp at Wyoming.
Yeah, it was tipped by Leonard, and Jimmy Smith almost got his hands on it to haul it in for his first interception of the season. That one's going to go over the head of Espinoza and out the back of the end zone. And the Colorado Buffaloes will take over at the 20-yard line. We'll see what they can do with their first possession here in the second half. Still up 17-0 here on Fox College Sports. A great day of football action here in Boulder, Colorado, only on Fox College Sports. It's Colorado up 17-0. A lot to dance about today for the Buffs. They have established themselves right from the get-go, a balanced offensive approach, but Cody Hawkins has done it in a variety of ways as they take over 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. The handoff to Stewart, and he's met in the backfield immediately.
Yeah, and that's Wyoming coming out and saying, hey, we're going to stop the run. Quarterback hasn't torched us. The number of completions that are 10 yards and below are 5 out of his 9 completions in the first half. So they're probably going to say, hey, let's stop the run, put guys in the box, and trust that our corners, who've done a very good job thus far today, lock these receivers down on the outside.
Well, so many playmakers on that side of the ball. I mean, Weston Johnson, a guy that got flagged for a penalty earlier, but big-time playmaker on the outside. 16 tackles on the season coming into this contest. Cody Hawkins again feels the pressure, and he gets met right away by big number 98, Mitch Unruh, the 6'4", 270 senior out of Eaton, Colorado. He was an all-conference honorable mention as a junior, and you see him get right after Cody Hawkins and place that helmet right underneath his chin.
Yeah, big thing when you're a quarterback, whenever you're going to run a play like this, when you're kind of rolling out and your back's to the defense, you got to take a peek right when you get the snap. Take a peek as you're taking your first step. What's that right side of the defensive line doing? And then as you turn around, get those eyes around quick, because before you know it, he's right in your face. You got to have 2 hands on the football, or you're going to get a turnover like we had earlier in the game.
Yeah, Unruh's sister, by the way, an excellent athlete herself. She was a 3-time All-American swimmer at Northern Colorado. A lot of that on these two teams. I mean, family lineage of guys that have played, fathers that have played professional or college sports, sisters, brothers, cousins. You know, there is something in the blood. Genetics does play a part of this whole thing.
And you have to look at, congratulate the state of Colorado when you have 27 players just on Wyoming's roster from this state. But also, this is the beauty of college football. It allows a variety of players to play on 117 teams.
We see this broadcast as us just being one big family. Let's welcome in our sister of the family, Samantha Steele.
To keep it on the family subject, guys, Rodney Stewart is actually the cousin of Sam linebacker. He's a backup, Doug Rippey. Guys, the funny thing about this story is that they didn't even know they were cousins until they went to a family reunion right before they got here. So, you know, you get here, you don't know anybody, all of a sudden you got family on the team.
It's always good. I wish that would have worked out for me.
Maybe you're my cousin.
I don't think so. See, it'd be difficult for me as a player to play for my dad, but that's what Cody Hawkins has signed up for here at Colorado, and he's passing away down to Jason Espinoza, and did he bring it in? They rule it an incomplete pass, saying he bobbled it out of bounds. He tried to snare that one in with one hand.
And I'll tell you, that was right in front of Coach Hawkins, who doubles not only as the head coach, but also the receiver coach. So he's going to get on these officials a little bit extra, I bet, on this one.
And Espinoza trying to haul it in.
I'd like to see that one again.
We will. Between his legs.
That's the one on the practice field they gave you the catch, but not in the game.
Yeah, they're not going to give you that one here in the game, but that'll bring up a punting situation.
It looks like we might get some pressure here from Wyoming, trying to make another special teams play.
They made it a week ago. That's how they scored their first touchdown. And only touchdown of the game versus Texas. Leonard takes it all the way back at the 35. Gets past the first line, takes it to the outside, trying to get to the corner, and does. Crosses the 50, the 45 down to the 40, and a couple of flags being thrown down on the field. And this one likely to be going back in the opposite direction, as it appears at least as if Colorado is going to be the beneficiary of a couple of flags on the play. They moved the spot of the penalty both to the 50. 2 officials were on the call. They saw it. We'll wait for the official announcement.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 16 of the receiving team. The penalty's 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
And that's one of those plays. Again, you look at yourself, you get over the 50-yard line. Wyoming starting to try to get some momentum. Instead, they're going back in the opposite direction. Cowboys got a cowboy up. They're down by 17 in the third. $17-0. Colorado in the lead with 11:49 left to go here in the third. Looking for the inside scoop for your favorite team. Find it all at scout.com. Go to scout.com and click on your favorite team. Immediately accessing breaking news, inside information, and all the latest recruiting news. Check out scout.com now. Cowboys trying to find their way into Colorado territory, and a good job on first down to pick up about 4 or 5 yards, depending upon the spot for the Cowboys. But that's pretty much been the offense all day long, Yogi, for the Cowboys. It's all short, it's all underneath.
Yeah, and you look at Colorado's defense, they've been a nickel the majority of this afternoon. That means an extra defensive back in the game, and their secondary has been pretty deep on first and third down. Second downs is when they've kind of gotten after this Wyoming offense.
Passing situation again. The freshman looks to unload down the seam. Intended for Stewart, and that one wasn't close.
And this is the reason why Wyoming is having some trouble right now. They got a young quarterback, different receivers that haven't been with him for a spring, for an entire summer, for an entire year. And as you watch this quarterback develop in the next few years, he's going to be very successful. He can throw it, it spins out of his hand, and this is why Colorado's doing well. They have not given up big plays. You rewind to the Toledo game, that's a touchdown right down the seam.
Looked like some spacing issues that time by the wide receivers, just about 4 yards apart from each other. The freshman scrambling. This is when he's dangerous. He throws back across the middle, and that one falls incomplete, almost intercepted. Across the middle, and good plays across the board that time. Forrest West dropped back from his right end position in the defense to fill that gap.
Yeah, and as a former quarterback coach, as I watch him throw across his body, across the middle, I want to just somewhat yell at him, no, don't do it. You can't do that. And that's exactly what he's getting told on the sideline right now by his coaching staff. We don't make that play, but you love the ability of this kid. You love his grit and determination to try to create something out of nothing, but it's how you get into a little bit of trouble.
7th punt of the day for the Cowboys. Espinoza back to retrieve this punt. It's a good high punt inside the 20. A fair catch is called at about the 18, and that's where Colorado will take over. Out of the 41 plays so far for Wyoming, 19 of them have been passed, 22 have been rushed, and none of them have put points on the board yet. Here's some scores around the Big 12. Kansas all over Duke, 44-16, a final score there. Missouri, Coach Christensen's former team, as he was working the offensive coordinator there, offense exploded today for 52 points to Furman's 12. And Nebraska and Virginia Tech, that'd be a big win for the Big 12 to knock off Virginia Tech. Meanwhile, Oklahoma all over Tulsa, 31-0. Connecticut beating Baylor right now, 10-7 in the second. Kent State and Iowa State a little bit later on tonight. Oklahoma State trying to rebound from that loss to Houston from a week ago. That was a big disappointment for the Cowboys.
I'll tell you, got a chance to see Kansas in week 1 and Todd Reesing on that offense, and they are dangerous. They know how to run this spread that Wyoming is trying to embody, and they've been doing it for a few years and had a lot of success at the wideout, at the running back position, and are now playing well on defense. They're going to be a name and a team to be reckoned with in the North.
You know, it's interesting, the early season Big 12. Oklahoma loses Sam Bradford and then loses to BYU. Oklahoma State knocks off Georgia, then gets upended in Stillwater by Houston. It's going to be a crazy year. I mean, Texas got Texas Tech a little bit later on tonight. The Longhorns looking for revenge We all remember the Michael Crabtree touchdown a year ago that cemented that game. That pass incomplete on the near sideline will bring up a 3rd and 7.
When you look at Colorado and what they've done the first 2 games of the season successfully on offense, they've thrown the comeback really well in those outside lanes. But this is the first time they've gone up against the opponent where their corners can match up and might be a little bit better than some of their wide receivers. When you run a comeback, when you run some of those routes on the outside, it's all about separation. Separate from that defender. And these 2 corners, the Gibson brothers, are doing a nice job today.
Hawkins 0 for 3 passing. This is clearly a passing down so far in the second half. 3rd and 7. He's in a shotgun formation. 3 wide receivers on the bottom half of your screen. The pressure comes right up the middle. And guess who's there? Let me introduce myself. My name is Fletcher. John Fletcher, the big fella up front, we mentioned it. He's got a motor. When it's running, he's one of the best. Not only in the Mountain West Conference, but in the western half of the United States, maybe the nation. He's got a great motor and pro stock ahead of him if he can keep that motor turned on, but sometimes it stalls out.
That's right. I had a chance to talk to him earlier this week, and he said, hey, early in my career, I didn't have a great motor. I didn't have a great work ethic. But since Coach Christian and that new staff came in, I've kind of rededicated myself to football. When you see him today, he's causing a lot of havoc in the backfield, and he knows every weekend's an audition for him in front of these NFL scouts.
A lot of scouts here today. Saw them all down in the writers' room trying to get themselves a free hot dog. That punt, the pressure for Wyoming, but instead they're backed up. It's at the 26, and that's where they'll take over when we return. 17-0 Colorado. Same score it was at the break. Nothing going so far here in the second half. Nothing going for Wyoming. We should let you know, hey, college basketball fans, your chance to win a trip for 2 to the U.S. Virgin Islands in November. Head to the FCSParadiseJam.com and enter your name. The 2009 Paradise Jam Sweepstakes. One lucky winner will win a 3-night trip for 2 alongside complimentary transportation and some spending cash, not to mention tickets to all the Paradise Jam tournament games. The 2009 Paradise Jam, where hoops meet heaven. Love some of those preseason basketball tournaments from around the country, and that's the biggest pass play we've seen all day long for the Cowboys, and it's a first down.
And that's Curtis Samuels doing what he does best. Get him out of the pocket. When it's a young quarterback, get him away from all that pressure. Colorado wants to bring pressure off the edge of number 29. You roll out your quarterback to the right, let him see the field, not a bunch of big bodies in front of him, and make a decision.
Another first down here. Cowboys on the keeper draw. Austin Carter-Samuels keeps his feet, spins out of 2 tackles, and picks up about 5 or 6 yards.
And if you're a Wyoming fan, you're going to see this kid the majority of the season.
All right, let's go down to Samantha Steele. You're going to see her all season long here on Fox College Sports, and that's a good thing. Sam?
Lucky you. You saw Ben Burney out there making that tackle, guys. There's a lot of stereotypes about athletes not doing much off the field. When he had 5 surgeries last year, he decided to author a book. He's working on a film right now. He's going to write another book next year. How about it?
That's pretty impressive. Just as this play is from Chappelle Brown on the reverse, sneaking into the backfield and dropping him for a 2-yard loss. That'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
And that's the trickery that you saw at Missouri. The difference is you don't have the athletes you had at Missouri, and also this Colorado defense is Chappelle Brown. He's been coached up by not only Ron Collins, but Greg Brown, the defensive secondary coordinator. 15 years in the NFL, he's seen a lot of plays, and I guarantee you, coach this guy up. And remember, in the nickel, they put Brown in the slot to stop plays like that.
17 tackles on the year heading into it. That's his first tackle for a loss of the season. Austin Carter-Samuels looking for a wide receiver, just overthrows McNeil. And that'll bring up a 4th down.
And when you look at Carter-Samuels next year, the year after that, he's going to complete those balls. He'll complete all of those passes when he's on the move, can step up in the pocket, finds a receiver open. He's going to make those completions. That's the type of quarterback that you want to be excited about. And he's going to be able to run this spread attack very well in the future.
You know, last week, Toledo got 624 yards of total offense against this Colorado defense. In the first half, just 61. Now, I understand the second half has got to be played, but that's a difference of 563 yards. And they look equally as strong here today. Short punt that time. Retrieved at about the 23, 24-yard line, make it. And that's where Colorado will get underway for another drive. Now, Colorado, you know, they really haven't done a lot offensively here in the second half, though, either, Yogi.
No, they haven't. They're trying to run the football. Wyoming is stacking the box. What does that mean? That means we can put 8 guys down near the line of scrimmage and try to stop the run and say, hey, Colorado, we dare you to pass. Where you can get hurt is in play action, what Colorado did in this first half.
Cody Hawkins comes under center. Split backs behind him. 2 receivers at the top of your screen. Hawkins looking to pass. Works the seam, finds his tight end. He's been quiet since the first quarter. A couple receptions early. And after that, he kind of disappeared in their offensive game plan.
Yeah, and that's the first pass in the last 2 quarters where Cody Hawkins has set his feet, had protection, and been able to deal a strike. Like I said earlier, spent a week with him. There was no offensive or defensive line. This guy can make every throw that this offense asks him to do. And he'll see that and make a nice drop. And actually, you ask him, hey, would you rather be outside the pocket and throw the football? And he says, no, I see myself as a pocket passer. Let me drop back, let me set my feet and make the throws.
If you give him time, his quarterback rating overall in his career about 116. That's including when he's under pressure. You take away those, and he completes passes like that, and his quarterback rating's up above 140.
Exactly right. And you really have to give credit to the guys upstairs and the offensive coordinator, Eric Kiesau. He's doing a nice job of getting his quarterback in rhythm, getting his receivers, his threats involved. All of a sudden, you throw to the tight end, the backers have to hug up a little bit, and all of a sudden, hey, let's make sure we're watching 87. You throw to the outside, the backers now say, oh, we need to expand a little bit. It'll be fun to watch him as this drive ensues.
Handoff to Stewart. Fletcher's right there to meet him at the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down by a slew of swarming Colorado Cowboys. Wyoming Cowboys, excuse me. Check that. Colorado with the 2-yard gain.
I'll tell you, it was really fun. On Sunday, I got a chance to talk to Cody Hawkins. After the loss, after the concussion, I said, how you doing, man? I said, I am jacked. We get to go play ball again? We're only 4 plays away.
Okay, but was that the concussion talking, or was that the quarterback
That's
talking?
the personality of him and his father. These guys relish these moments. Back against the wall, you're against the world. Let's go compete and maximize our potential as a player and as a program.
Well, one of the things Coach Hawkins said to us when we were talking to him, he said, look, we stumbled. We haven't fallen. People around here think we've fallen. We haven't. We can get up off the mat. And so far today, they have, up 17-0 over Wyoming. And that's going to bring it close to a first down. So it'll be 3rd and short for Colorado.
That's right. And they're following the lead of the Hawkins duo. These guys, they play, they coach, they interview, they speak in the absence of fear. They know the type of player, the type of program, the type of coach they are. They have a theme around here. It's all about excellence, and excellence with class. They haven't pointed the finger. They haven't blamed anybody. They've just gone out and played ball while taking the shots they've taken.
So 3rd and short, slightly less than a yard to get to the first down. Handoff. Stewart gets the first down, picks it up by about a yard. And they're on the move.
Yeah, and this is the drive. This is the drive where you can kind of define yourself. I guarantee at halftime, they went in there and said, hey, we're a few plays away. We don't have all the points that we should have gotten in the first half, as Samantha pointed out in her interview with Coach Hawkins. They came out more disciplined, a little more relaxed. This offensive line, now it's 2.5 games in. They're veterans now. It can't be your first game. It can't be your second game. It's the 3rd quarter of your college football season, 3rd game of the year. Go play ball.
First down for Colorado. Just crossed the 50-yard line. They pitch it out to Stewart. He's got some blockers in front of him. He's got a seam. Crosses the 40-yard line. It's another first down for Colorado. And you know what's interesting? We're talking to Coach Hawkins. We mentioned, we brought up the word adversity, and he was quick to shoot right back at us, Yogi.
You're exactly right. He said, hey, this isn't hard. Being 0-2 isn't that big of a deal. I've got a brother-in-law who's in Iraq at 141 degree as a lieutenant colonel competing every day. We get to play football. I get to do X's and O's. And I think he brings that mentality of, hey, guys, hit the easy button, like you said, and let's just go do what we do. Play fast, play consistent, and like Cody told me Sunday, let's go have fun and put a smile on our face.
They've been smiling here in Boulder, Colorado today as the Buffaloes are once again on the move against the Cowboys defense. Hawkins rolling out. He's got his wide receiver down the sideline. That's complete. A big-time play that time. Nice catch by Will Jefferson, the freshman out of Vista del Lago in California.
This is a really interesting kid. They found him during the summer. The offensive coordinator, a friend in California, they heard about him. He had to take 1 class to become eligible. And all of a sudden, he's involved in this offense, making plays. He's the receiver who can not only stretch the defense, but separate from defenders. And you get into game 5, game 6, the later part of the season, you're going to see more of Will Jefferson.
I formation for the Buffaloes. is their downhill running formation. This is usually like where they like to power it between the tackles. They try it. Stewart gets hit immediately, and a great stop defensively that time by Fred Givens. Let's go down to Samantha Steele.
Yeah, guys, I told you earlier that Rodney Stewart wasn't heavily recruited out of high school, and these coaches really seem to pride themselves on that. If you guys remember when we were on the phone with Hawk earlier this week, one of the things he mentioned was that last year's Super Bowl game, both teams combined only had 7 players that were ranked in the top 100 coming out of high school. So what is it? Is it all just hype? It just goes down from there, guys?
I don't know if it's all hype, but you're exactly right. There is no mistake. There is no special ingredient to success. It's hard work. It's dedication. It's film study. If it's a commitment to the game of football, and those are the type of players that they try to recruit here at Colorado. I'll tell you what, they need to recruit some more offensive line because they're having a difficult time up front.
Yeah, with the pass still complete, and it's good enough for a first down. Good poise and good footwork in the pocket that time by Cody Hawkins.
Yeah, and there's a lot of drills that you do. I watched him do it all summer long. All of a sudden, it's to the right, it's to the left, it's setting your feet, making a throw, and especially as a quarterback, you've got to put it on the specific shoulder. He puts it on the tight end's left shoulder. That tells him, when I catch it, turn to my left because there's a defender. There's a big body inside of it.
I want to ask you this because obviously being at SC, you got a lot of highly touted players that came in right away that thought they were stars. You know, the guys that succeed are the guys that still have that chip on their shoulder and they want to prove that they can play. And that mantra of competing, which has been made so famous and so nationally known by Pete Carroll and USC, is something that you often see. And Rodney Stewart is one of those kids, you know, hey, look, people in his home state didn't pay attention. Nobody wanted him in his home state. So he comes to Colorado. Now he's got that chip on his shoulder. People say I'm too small. People say I can't get it done at the big-time level. And here he is flourishing.
You're exactly right. And you're talking about Pete Carroll and what they've done in SC, obviously, is they've kind of won forever over there. They've done a great job of competing and finding that essence of their program. But it comes from the top and the head coach, their assistant coaches, reminding these players that it's not about what you did last year as a high school recruit. It's about what you do today on the practice field. We got to win today for us to win on Saturday. And then it trickles down to the players. So when a high-profile recruit comes in and he's got a little ego to him, what happens? The players police it. Say, hey, man.
24 carries, 99 yards on the ground for Stewart. You saw the one touchdown, his career best, by the way, 166 versus West Virginia. And he's excited for 2 weeks from now.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
He's healthy and he's running well.
He is jacked. We talked to him after the walkthrough yesterday, and he was so fired up because this was his first chance this season to play relatively healthy. And, folks, he's not at 100%. He said he's about 85. Well, look out. You got a bye week, then you head into West Virginia in a hostile environment where I've played 2 or 3 times in my career when I was playing at Pitt. It's a fun place to play.
We want to remind you, next week, FCS, September 26th, we head to Palo Alto. That's right, me, Yogi, Sam, as the Washington Huskies take on the Stanford Cardinal, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Catch Pac-10 football only next Saturday on Fox College Sports. Toby Gerhardt, a pretty talented running back we'll see in that contest for the Stanford Cardinal. I refer to him as the Tim Tebow of the West Coast, and we'll tell you more about Toby Gerhardt next week. But right now, it's about Mr. Lockridge as he takes that one off the right edge. A nice pickup and a big first down for Colorado as they're deep in the red zone now looking for that goal line.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what you're not going to see right here, what you're not going to hear about is number 16, Anthony Wright. He's the wide receiver on the edge. Look at this block right there. He's just competing to stay on the guy, give his running back another second, another inch to breathe.
You know, the interesting thing about Lockridge, Abercrombie and Fitch was eyeing him to shoot a promo for their spring line back for the 2010 line, but due to the NCAA bylaws, they said you can't. The guy's a model. How California is that?
It's perfect. He gets in the end zone. He's going to be one of the most popular guys on campuses now.
You imagine he drops that line around campus? Hey, girls, you know Abercrombie and Fitch wanted me? I'm so OC. Meanwhile, Stewart on the carry that time. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage. It'll bring it back a yard. It'll bring up 2nd and 11. No opportunity here for a first down for Colorado, so it's either end zone or field goal attempt. That's what we're waiting on right now to see what Cody Hawkins can do inside the red zone with this unit, and you love the tight end here.
Yeah, they do. I think Greer is a real weapon down here in the red zone. They've thrown fade stuff, thrown to the back shoulder of receivers a variety of times this season. When you watch them practice, they love going to the tight end here.
Hand off to Stewart. He's got a lane. He bursts right through it and gets into the end zone. A nice job adjusting and seeing the gap, and when he saw it, you mentioned it, Yogi, he sees a hole, he hits it hard.
And it's really exciting to watch this kid play football. Hasn't been healthy this season. You watch him take the ball, and all of a sudden, boom, hits the hole, he's gone. He's a small, diminutive kind of figure, but he packs a powerful punch. All of a sudden, he hits the hole, knows where the end zone is, the ball is protected, he dives over the end zone, and the best part about that touchdown is right there at the end, is the celebration. The Colorado Buffaloes are finally having fun playing the game of college football.
Well, they're going to review this one just to make sure he got over the goal line. Is 11-yard touchdown run if it stands. The referee in today's contest is going to run all the way down to the opposite side of the field. See this one? We're taking another look. Perfect angle right here.
Oh,
good?
I don't know.
We got to slow it down. Can we slow that one down a little bit more? I mean, his knee might have gone down before he gets in the end zone. It's all about where the ball is, though.
Yeah,
his knee is down.
Coming back.
I think it might be a little short. They might have to do it one more time.
And I'll tell you, you got to get your next play ready. Do you go right to the quarterback sneak? You've had trouble interiorly against this defensive line. Or do you run another zone outside like you've just done with your backs?
Oh, from that angle, it looks as if he might have gotten in.
Yeah, it'll be fun to find out. And I'll tell you what, if I'm the offense, get the decision.
We're about to find out.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
All right, so that one is good, and the points will go on the board. So it's 23-0 Colorado, awaiting the extra point. Well, you mentioned these guys are having fun today.
Yeah, they are. And
you know what's more important, too? This community's having fun. And, and look, as much as we talked about Colorado, Laramie today is looking at this saying, okay, look, we're getting beat pretty bad by a Big 12 team right now. But the hope that they have and the faith that they have in Coach Christensen is not going to be shaken off of this.
No, it's not. I mean, they're just getting going. I mean, he hasn't even brought in a real first recruiting class. He got hired kind of late in recruiting. Remember, recruiting's a year, 2-year process.
Yes.
He's going to start to find these relationships. And what does he need to recruit? He needs to recruit athletic offensive linemen that can fit in this spread attack, and receivers that are possession-type guys that can catch the football, spread teams out, and dink and dunk and take a few shots down the field.
Wyoming historically has had some of the finest wide receivers statistically in NCAA history. So with that wide open offense, and the history of Coach Christensen was, the Jeremy Macklins of the world, that he's going to be able to get some guys that want to play in this kind of system. Sam?
Guys, as you know, Hawkins has taken a lot of scrutiny in the last couple of games for the way his team has played, but what do you think it's going to take to turn that around? He reminded us of the 07 Super Bowl champion Giants, who started out 0-2, and people were calling for Coughlin's job. He knows it takes patience. He knows good things take time. The guy's been married for 27 years, right? He understands loyalty and waiting it out, right?
Yeah, you got to work through some battles in marriage without question. You two don't know, but I do. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit, because you've got a coach who, look, whether anybody here wants to admit it or not, he built up Boise State to the powerhouse, took them to a BCS bowl game. There's no debating whether or not Hawk knows how to coach.
You're exactly right, and look at what he's had to do here. He's had to rebuild this not from the ground floor, but kind of underground, from alumni, supporters, boosters, obviously recruiting. He was going up against a lot, took the job. There was a lot of excitement about him coming to this program, and as well there should. He's coached this game for a long time. He's built programs from nothing.
That last scoring drive, 13 plays, 76 yards, matches the longest drive of the year in plays. It's the longest timed possession of the year for Colorado. Those are all things that are going to, make this offense flourish, but even more importantly, keep that defense off the field, keep them fresh, so they can keep making the plays they've made so far here today. Nice short pass caught by David Leonard. He's got some room in front of him, crosses the 40 and brought down about the 43-yard line. And I think if you're Wyoming, that's what you need to do a lot more of.
Yeah, and they've ran that play a few times this afternoon. What they need to do is be very accurate with this ball. And this is not an easy pass to catch. You're coming in as a wide receiver. You're going very fast. As a quarterback, you have to learn how to make a touch pass, and that's exactly what Carter Samuels did.
Another short pass and a couple of missed tackles, and it's a pickup of 8. So all of a sudden, the short passing game is paying off for Wyoming. That last pass, by the way, to Leonard before this pass that makes it second and short was a 22-yard gain.
Wyoming really finding their rhythm by going fast, tempo, and that's how this offense is built.
Hand off to Alexander. He's got some room. He gets the first down and a pickup of about 5. So Wyoming crosses the 50-yard line, and all of a sudden you start to look at this team and go, all right, this is all part of a maturation process with a new offense, 47 new faces, as you mentioned, Yogi. There are many battles within a game that Coach Christensen can take to his team and hang their hat on. He's not going to take a moral victory, but at least there's some positive signs you can walk away with. You'll take it.
Yeah, and I think as you build a program, your expectations as a competitor is always to win every game. But when you're building a program from scratch, coming in, having to change the culture, make it more disciplined than it was in the past, there are those small victories. You've got a freshman quarterback who's playing in the Big 12 today against Colorado on the road, and he's having success. They're going to go back and they're going to cut the tape and pull out his top 25 plays and say, look, this is what you can do. Let's just be consistent as we continue on with our season.
Empty backfield. Three wide receivers at the top of your screen. It's quarterback draw. It goes up the middle, and he's absolutely stuffed.
I'll tell you what, the quarterback draw, great success for Toledo. But I'll tell you, if I'm Colorado, they've probably seen that play off that film 30 times after last week's game.
Yeah, and Austin Carter Samuels is glad it's the end of the quarter because he got shook up on that one. Curtis Cunningham rattled his brain. He played all 12 games a year ago, didn't start any of them. He's starting now, and he's making plays. So is Colorado. They're up 24-0 here on Fox College Sports. 24-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. We're excited for next week's game between Stanford and Washington. Check in real quick with Samantha Steele.
Guys, our tweets are keeping us updated around the country today. In the Pac-10 right now, in the battle of the best friends of Yogi Roth, USC and UW tied up 10-10 in the fourth quarter. What are you going to do, man?
Oh, I'll tell you what, college football at its finest. That's just the coaching tree at SC.
Oh, and that pass is complete down the sideline, and it's a reception inside the red zone. A great play that time by Austin Carter Samuels.
And I'll tell you what, this is exactly what happened the first two games against Colorado. Their secondary giving up big plays.
Dante Morgan on the reception.
A great catch. Finally, they made one of the plays. This is the third time that's happened down the field for Wyoming.
Wyoming trying to avoid their first shutout since October 21st, 2006. That one against Colorado State. Remember, there was a missed field goal early in this contest by Wyoming. Pushed it wide right. The defense hoping to maybe put that same thought in the kicker's head one more time.
Yeah, and if you think this game's over, sit back down in your seat because the spread offense can strike very quickly. That's what it's built upon. Those big type of plays, those seam routes, those corner routes, which you're seeing right now. Wyoming is not out of this. Remember, the defense is playing well thus far up front in the second half.
Stewart in motion. Second down and goal to go from the 6. Penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 69 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
And with a freshman quarterback finally getting some momentum, you can't have the big uglies up front. False start.
No, you can't. And John Hutchins, he's been sharing time with Clayton Carvin at the right tackle position. They've been rotating throughout the game. From Minnesota, you can't make those types of plays. They kind of kill you, especially down here in the red zone.
And Stewart now joining in the backfield. They run the option, tries to go straight up the middle, and Colorado's defense. Who you want to give the tackle to? The entire group?
Swarming to the football, a theme of their defense, swarming to the football. Everybody get a hand on it. Everybody get, some sort of your hat on the football. They are not going to get beat on this draw, I'm telling you. They got beat too many times last week. I would say for the rest of the season, a quarterback draw will not affect Colorado's defense.
Forrest West was the first one to make initial contact there. Third down and goal. Big play for the Cowboys, and here comes the pressure. They're going to get to him, and now all of a sudden what seemed what would be an easy field goal is not going to be all that easy. B.J. Beatty able to get in the backfield and make a tackle.
I'll tell you, you talk to some of the players and you ask them, who's most likely to hit you in the mouth? B.J. Beatty, that's his third sack right now. This is a ball hawk. He's fired up. He does it in practice. He only has one speed, whether it's a walkthrough or whether it's a game.
And you love the locks, the Shaun White-esque locks that are underneath the helmet.
And he's a snowboarder. He loves it.
A long field goal attempt, and this one is up, and it's no good. Pushed it this time to the left.
The student section finally getting a little excited up here in Boulder.
Well, potential for a shutout is still looming over the head of the Cowboys. The Buffaloes will get the ball back. They're already up 24-0 with 12:36 left to go here on Fox College Sports. Colorado about to take the ball one more time, but let's check in with Samantha Steele.
Guys, I just got a tweet that if there were a Hall of Fame for tweets, this would go straight in from J.S. Strong 54, and it's straight to you guys. If you could never mention Abercrombie and Fitch or the OC during a football game ever again, that'd be great. -5 man points. Guys, I think that's called a burn, right?
Well, that'd be against me, Sam. Tell that guy to follow me at Twitter, okay? It's a very simple call name. Sean Farnham, it's my name. He can tweet me there. I love the bios, though. Look, it's interesting to have athletes that can do a variety of things.
Yeah. Hey, Abercrombie and Fitch, a nice brand.
That song, by the way, was horrible, though. Remember that one song? It was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, their ads aren't the greatest, but hey, if you got it, man. Not mad at it.
Rodney Stewart with the carry that time. About a loss, about a half yard. Colorado, again, you look at Wyoming, the last time they were shut out was 2006. Last time CU had a shutout an opponent, you have to go back to September 22nd, 2007. That was Miami of Ohio, 42-0 was the final score in that game. And that one's stuffed up at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, one guy that tweeted saying we should have mentioned that. It's not like I mentioned Dancing with the Stars or So You Think You Can Dance.
Hey, man. A lot of people watching you today. I'll tell you, a lot of people watching this offensive line for Colorado, too. They're not getting off the ball. They're getting stuffed right up front by that strong defensive line of Wyoming. When you look in the locker room, the mantra for Colorado is start fast, finish strong. We're in the fourth quarter. I guarantee this staff has mentioned that on the sideline before this drive began.
You mentioned that it's mentioned in the locker room. It's postered all over the locker room. You can't miss it. I don't care what door you go out of. You can't miss Scotty McKnight either. Cody Hawkins finds him all day long. A nice pickup that time, close to the first down. It's going to be 4th and short. They're going to go ahead and punt it, about 4th and a yard.
This is just a smaller version of what they've been doing in the first half. Run a guy deep, try to run a receiver underneath him, and he's been wide open. Unfortunately, they were a few yards short, but you look at Scotty McKnight, committed to Boise State when Coach Hawkins left to Colorado, came here, and he's proven himself as the most dependable receiver for Cody Hawkins in the past 2+ seasons.
Here's the punt. Leonard back to retrieve it. Calls for the fair catch, and he'll catch it at the 31-yard line, and that's where the Cowboys will take over. Can the Cowboys get on the board? It's 24-0. Time starting to tick out on them. 10:32 left to go here in the fourth on Fox College Sports. 24-0, Colorado over Wyoming. If you call yourself a college sports fan, then you got to get FCS. With over 900 live NCAA events year-round, exclusive club sports coverage, FCS is the place where college never ends. To get FCS, call 877 to get FCS or visit us at foxcollegesports.com. So here goes Wyoming. They moved the ball extremely well on their last drive, but it ended with 0 points after 2 consecutive plays where they took losses. One on a penalty and then the other on a big sack.
Sometimes as a quarterback, you see right there on the incompletion throwing the ball. When you're in the shotgun, you got to make sure your feet are set. You can't just catch, be straight, upright, kind of have your knees locked and be able to throw accurately. As a quarterback, every throw begins with your toes and ends with your fingertips. And something that these freshmen, young quarterbacks have to learn.
Empty backfield. Unless they're going quarterback draw, we're seeing a pass again. Here comes some pressure from the outside. Chappelle Brown trying to force him out of the pocket. He does. He goes near side. Good recognition that time by the freshman to feel that pressure coming on his backside.
Yeah, and he does a really nice job. When you're going up against this defense that Colorado's playing, which is called cover 4, that means each guy in the secondary has a fourth of the field, and the linebackers have a responsibility. They usually have the slot receiver. Well, if the slot receiver runs inside, the backer has to follow him, and that opens up a lane for the quarterback to run in, which is exactly what happened on that snap.
Bring up a 3rd and about 3 for the Cowboys. Changing the play from the sideline. Some confusion. Play clock winding down. The pass is caught, and it's good for the first down.
The beautiful thing about the spread offense is that if you're a young quarterback, you don't have to study an insane amount for your offense to succeed. Why? Because the coordinator gives you one play, and then he has the ability to change it to the other before the snap. So you don't have to read defense and say, hey, they're bringing this pressure, they're playing this coverage. You just look to the sideline and then make the adjustment.
Option pass. And Stewart takes it across for about a 3-yard gain. By the way, that third down conversion from Wyoming, only the second in 14 tries so far today.
And you can see this offense, the diversity that it's going to be when they put 100% of this package. They have the option, they have draws, they have counters, they obviously have the deep pass game and the quick game. A few weeks from now, you're going to watch these guys. They might wreak a little havoc in their conference.
Well, this offense is going to cause a lot of defenses to spread out and create gaps. As they become more familiar with it, they're going to make better plays. Stewart out of the backfield, hauls that one in near the first down marker. It'll be a 3rd and short. A little bit better pass on that one, and he can take that.
Yeah, you can. And this is where you can really influence these linebackers. They're so accustomed to run or drop to my zone. All of a sudden, you put a running back out of the backfield on a wheel route, he's got a chance to make plays. They ran it against Texas, and they ran it against Weber State and had success. 3rd
down, and I don't think he got anywhere.
And let me tell you how a quarterback sneak operates. First and foremost, when you take the snap, it isn't instant go. You have to take a little rocker step, lean back, find out the hole, and feel it, and slide your way to the right or to the left and find that gap.
All right, it's 4th down. Big play here for the Cowboys. Under 5 on the play clock. And it looks like we got a false start going against the Cowboys. Took a lot of time to get that play in and get everybody set.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And you know, one thing we're going to hear here is this Colorado fans and their support of this defense today. And, you know, this has been a defense that got beaten up. You see just a little bit of a false start there. Good enough to draw out the yellow flag. And now you force yourself into a punting situation. It's the 9th punt of the day for Wyoming.
Yeah, and you look at your offensive line, they were up there for a while on that 4th down, and I'm sure Coach Christensen, he's learning as well as this thing goes on. You can't have him late in the game standing at the offensive line for that long period of time. Just make a play, make your call, make your decision, and go.
Jason Espinoza calls for the fair catch, catches it at the 21-yard line, and that's where Colorado will take over with possession. There's a flag down on the field. We'll wait and hear what the officials have to say about this one.
Personal foul, unnecessary late hit, 98 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So things just continue to snowball here today for the Wyoming Cowboys. 24-0 the score. Colorado may be looking to add to it as we are deep into the 4th quarter now. 7:43 left here on Fox Solid Sports. 24-0 the score. Ironically, that would be the same score the last time Wyoming got shut out back in 2006. Colorado's going to look to add to it now as Cody Hawkins takes the field. I can imagine we're going to see a lot of runs here in the 4th quarter, up 24-0 with 7:43 left to go.
Yeah, and I think if you're the offense, you got to keep doing your stuff. They haven't played a complete game, let alone a complete half, and this is the closest thing they've done to it. No letting up, finishing strong as he deals it out to the left here.
A nice pass out into the flat, and that's good for about a pickup of about 7. Jake Barron's the fullback on the reception. They like to snake him out of the backfield from time to time. In fact, you know, Colorado is one of only 2 teams in the Big 12 to actually utilize a fullback.
And he's a traditional fullback from probably fullback haven of Omaha, Nebraska, known as one of the smartest guys on this program. They use him at tight end at times if they need to, but he is, right, exactly like you said, the traditional fullback, hit you in the face type of guy.
Ronnie Stewart with the carry, takes out one up the middle, maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Stewart over the century mark here today, and what a comeback performance it has been for him. Darryl Scott on the sideline, injured today, out with a knee injury. Hoping to get him back 100% for that West Virginia game on the road. But Stewart, coming back from injury, has been the star of the game so far.
Yeah, and I'm sure Scott is going to get healthy a little bit quicker now as he's seeing these backs have a field day against this Wyoming defense, running the football with success.
3rd down and about 3. Cody drops back, short pass into the flat. Jason Espinoza has it and has the 1st down for Colorado.
And that's really hard to defend. The quick out, especially when you have single coverage on the outside. 3 steps, throw it out there. Easy route by the wide receiver. Thrown to his roommate. Again, these guys love this combination.
Not much that Tayshawn Gibson could have done on that one any differently.
No, exactly right. And that's what this offense is based on. First half, 5 out of his 9 completions were 10 yards or less. Let Cody take his drop, set his feet, and make the throws. Play action will allow you to make those throws deep and down the field. But he's not going to take 7-step drops and throw a 15-yard in route. It's not part of this offensive philosophy.
All right, pitch to the outside. Rodney Stewart has got some lane. He gets to the corner, looks to turn it up. Gets a pickup of about 5, maybe 6 on the carry for Stewart.
You have to be excited about these receivers blocking today. And it's neat because it's a credit to not only the head coach, but their position coach, who happens to be the same guy in Dan Hawkins. The last few games, like you said, they threw the daylights out of the football. Every quarterback likes to throw, but not 64 times necessarily.
Yeah, Coach Hawkins, one of only 6 head coaches in all of college football to also be a position coach this year. Let's go down to Samantha Steele.
About Stewart being a star, and even though this guy doesn't really play, he's the backup long snapper. Austin Bisno is a star in his own right. He is a pop singer. He has 4 albums out, and you know how he got his start? MySpace. So he probably meets girls the same way you do, Yogi, right? MySpace?
I don't have a MySpace account, but I'm Twittering daily, just like everybody here at Fox College Sports. And hey, we checked out his CD. He did a nice job.
Yeah, but he goes under the assumed name of Austin Paul as a singer.
Hey, when you're a performer, sometimes you have to do that. A little stage name.
What would be your stage name? Never mind. Don't answer it.
I'll Twitter it to you later.
All right, thanks. Stewart picked up the 1st down, and here comes Colorado. They're now closing in at the 30-yard line. Stewart has 31 carries, 126 yards. Remember, his career high, 166 yards against West Virginia. Hawkins looking to pass. He throws long, and Espinoza turned in on the route. I think Hawkins expected him to turn in and then go right back to the flag.
Yeah, that's surprising. A little confusion there. But Cody Hawkins right back to the sideline. The nice thing about this quarterback is that he doesn't have, oh, well, let's worry about what happened in the past type mentality. It's constantly moving on. It's constantly upbeat and positive. He's going to be a coach, and a very successful one in his future. And that is the demeanor that trickles down to the rest of this offense and throughout the program.
So 2nd and 10. Stewart is the deep back. Espinoza at the bottom of your screen, McKnight at the top. The handoff is to Stewart. He looks for the hole, finds it, gets through it, maybe a pickup of 2. I like his patience. A lot of times there's guys that dance. He doesn't dance. He just waits to identify where that hole is, and once he sees it, he tries to hit it.
That's exactly why the zone running scheme is built the way it is. Alex Gibbs, the longtime legendary coach at the Denver Broncos on the offensive line, kind of came up with it, and he's taught numerous programs around the country. The key is patience. As a running back, you don't just get the ball and go like you used to in high school. You have to read the down lineman and their technique. Are they on what shoulder of the offensive lineman? You read that, you make a decision, and you go, and it allows for a variety of cutback lanes, which these backs at Colorado have used all day long.
Hawkins back to pass here on 3rd and long. He's got Stewart in the flat. Hits him. Stewart unable to get to the 1st down mark. He'll take it down to the 25-yard line. We'll see a field goal attempt for Colorado.
I think you're going to see more of those types of plays.
Maybe not.
You call those types of plays, your running back option route.
They're going for it. So they're going to keep the offense out on the field here, and you see it came up a couple yards short. It's going to be 4th and 4. But Colorado being aggressive, up 24-0, under 4 minutes to go. They're going to go ahead and try to get this 1st down.
Yeah,
you like this call?
I love this call. This is an attitude decision right here. Hey, we've had a good day. We've had a solid week of practice. Our best Tuesday, our best Wednesday, our best Thursday. Let's see what we do here.
They flip it out. Here comes the reverse. Hawkins trying to throw the lead block, unable to get it done. Lockridge stumbles forward, maybe picks up a yard. So a little bit of trickery, unable to get to the 1st down marker.
And this is somewhat what the fans have been asking for. Where are all those trick plays we saw at Boise State? Well, there's one right there. It didn't necessarily work. There was a lane, but you need to continue to run those traditional plays on offense.
All right, the Cowboys will take over the ball. Can they put points on the board? Time is waning. Could be their first shutout since 2006. Stay locked here on Fox Ball Sports. Welcome you back. 24-0 to score. Colorado over Wyoming, and we've got our third quarterback of the day for the Wyoming Cowboys, and it's one that Wyoming Cowboy fans are familiar with.
Yeah, Carson Swain, he's played this position, former starter, and one of the most reputable guys in the program. Could have left, could have kind of been upset, been down about his position and his demotion at that position. He said, hey, put me wherever I can help this team.
He's been on special teams. In fact, he was flagged earlier in the day for his special teams. But you know what? I love the fact that this is a guy in this day and age where you can transfer out, he can go to an FBS or an FCS school and play right away. But instead, he stays the course and he stays here, and they're getting a little bit of opportunity, get some burn with 2:35 left to go on the clock.
And he's earned the right to play ball. You know, he's practiced hard. He's kind of kept his head on straight, been very focused. He's going to graduate. He's a complete, quote-unquote, team guy in the program. And this sends a message to the rest of the team. If you practice hard, if you don't make excuses, if you don't whine, you don't complain, and you play every day, you've got a chance to play for this program.
13-13 in Washington. USC just answered with a field goal. That one in the fourth quarter. First down pass, that time to David Leonard on the far sideline. A nice pickup for Wyoming.
I'll tell you, that USC-Washington game, I've been on the sideline for the last 4 years with Coach Sarkisian and Coach Carroll, and in just scrimmages when those two go against each other, it's as competitive as you get.
We're not going to see a Mangini Belichick handshake after the game, though, are we?
No, these guys love each other, but they are competitors on the basketball court, in the film room, and obviously today on the field up in Seattle.
The handoff to Stewart. He's got nowhere to run. Great job that time by the Colorado defense, swarming all over. We've got a flag down on the field. We'll await the call.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Number 62, the defense. 15 yards added to the end of the run. First down.
So in that scrum, a 15-yard penalty is assessed, and the Wyoming Cowboys pick up a big first down and now move the ball across the 50-yard line. A couple of weeks ago during that Colorado State game, many people were surprised to see a certain somebody on the sideline by the name of Mark Sanchez, the rookie quarterback. I know you know Mark extremely well, and you weren't surprised he was here.
No, I wasn't. He's been here a few times. His best friend is Scotty McKnight, number 21, the wide receiver for Colorado. They grew up together as ball boys for Santa Margarita High School when Carson Palmer was the quarterback. Then as their careers went on in high school, they used to work out together all summer, not only just on their own running routes, with Bob Johnson, who coached both of those guys in the offseason, and Mark during the season, and then at the Elite 11 camp. So, Mark, I guarantee he's watching the game today, and if you are, man, you're probably flipping back and forth between this one and the SC game right now. But Scotty McKnight, he takes a lot of pride in Mark, his buddy. They had a chance this summer to head up in New York. They went to a couple Yankees games and Mets games, and even met Tiger Woods and Derek Jeter.
That pass by Swain, let's just say, didn't hit the wide receiver.
No.
Did you see? I mean, this pass down the sideline, he had his wide receiver open, and as the lefty flung it, you'll notice the dancers are dancing, and that ball right off the square of the back. That's going to sting.
Yeah, it is. That might leave a mark. And Swain, he's running the opponent's offense every week as a scout team quarterback, so he's not getting a lot of reps with these receivers, but he's just going back to a couple of years ago when he used to deal every day as a man up in Wyoming.
Well, he's comfortable in this role. I know time is limited right now, and people might be thinking, oh, this is just mop-up time, and they're giving this guy. He's moving the ball down the field as good as any quarterback has so far today for Wyoming.
That's right. That's the beauty of college football. We've said it all day. Let's celebrate the game. And after this, he's going to get a DVD copy of this game. And a couple of years from now, he's going to turn it on, fast forward to about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and watch him in a couple drives in a series here in Boulder.
It was a nice job that time defensively, getting that hand on the ball, as Bernie was able to break it up. So a minute and 11 left to go here in Boulder, Colorado. It's been all Colorado all day long. Maybe the Safeway clerk that I ran into yesterday will get off the back of Coach Hawkins just a little bit now.
I'll tell you what, you might be the good luck charm. Get that nice haircut up here. Colorado gets a W.
You know, it's always good to get a sense and a feel for it. I mean, you and I mean, first thing I did, I got a haircut when I got here. Then I went to the Safeway, forgot some toiletry supplies. And, you know, you and I last night, we sat on Pearl Street pretty much all night long during the Stampede Parade up Pearl Street. And it was great to listen to the crowd and the support. And that's what makes college football so unique. The passion. You know, you all love the NFL. I love the NFL. I know you love it, Yogi. But college football is different because the sense of community that comes with this. And a lot of pressure applied that time, and a big sack.
Yeah, the fun part about this game, when we walk out of this stadium, is the fathers and sons playing catch a little bit with their kids. You know, going to the barbecue, getting a bite to eat, having a good time talking about the game. And you can talk about moments like this, lighting up the quarterback, hustling to the football. This is the excitement that tomorrow in film sessions in Colorado and those football offices are going to say, hey, with 50 seconds left, we were still swarming to the football. We're going to play 4 quarters, start fast, and finish strong. Now let's take a little breather here in our bye week. Let's tighten things up and head down to Morgantown, West Virginia, and see if we can get a W against the Big East Conference.
Meanwhile, CU has sacked every quarterback that Wyoming has put into the game at least once. 4 sacks on the day, and I think this one is going to be going against Wyoming because that ball was initially touched by an offensive lineman. Not an eligible receiver.
The offense. The penalty will be declined. The ball will turn over on downs, first down.
So with 26 seconds left, we're going to hear a lot of applause, and we're going to see Cody Hawkins come out here and take a knee.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, as a coach, you practice this play once a week. And everybody across the board, every level of football, it's called victory formation. The quarterback takes it and takes a knee, and it's the most beautiful play in football for that staff over in Colorado.
Yeah, it's one that many people, not only just that staff, but these fans have been wanting to see. Remember, expectations were set high last year, about 7 months ago, when Coach Hawkins himself said this team would go 10-2. Well, they're 1-2 right now. 24-0 is going to be your final score from Boulder, Colorado, as Wyoming gets shut out for the first time since 2006, and the first shutout for Colorado since 2007 when they took care of business against Miami, Ohio. A veteran head coach talking to a first-year head coach. There's going to be better days for Wyoming. Without question, Coach Christensen is the right man for the job for the Wyoming Cowboys. But as we mentioned, he's got to get his players set. He needs to get his system fully in place. It's not quite there yet, but for Coach Hawkins, it's a big one, Yogi.
Oh, and it's huge. And you can tell throughout the week, he's the one who takes all the criticism, and he wants it that way. And you see him do a successful job today.
All right, let's send it down. Samantha Steele's with the head coach right now.
First off, congratulations, Coach, but Rodney Stewart, 125 yards. This guy stepped in right after Daryl Scott was out. Did you expect him to be that much of a game changer?
Yeah. Both those guys are really good players, and everybody talks about Daryl, and he's great. We're fortunate we've got a couple guys that can carry it in there, and he came in. I mean, you know, the story of the day really is the defense. And, you know, those guys much maligned after the last couple weeks, and I think it just gives credence to you. Hang in there, keep doing and keep working, and just when everybody wants to bury you, you got a chance to do something.
Coach, I know you're going to say you got to take it one game at a time, but is this the momentum you were looking for?
Well, you know, unfortunately, gosh, we've had the Oklahomas, we've had the West Virginias. You know, Lord knows we've just battled a lot of stuff, so kind of get a little breath of fresh air, get a little wind underneath your wings, and you know when you were a kid and you first started doing this, you get a little confidence, you go a long way.
You got a week off, you got your bye coming this week, then over to West Virginia.
Well,
how happy are you to have that week off?
Well, yeah, you don't want to sit around with a loss, but we got a lot of work to do. It's good to come out with a win. I'm really happy for our defense. They've been taking a lot of heat, and you know, we got to clean up some things. Offensively, we left a lot of points on the board and got to shore that up. It's only going to get tougher from here on out.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back up to you guys.
All right, obviously, Coach, you know, it's take a little bit of that weight off his shoulders. He mentioned the defense. A defense that gave up 624 yards against Toledo. against Wyoming today. In 71 plays, they gave up just 230 yards. That's a difference of 394 yards from where they were just a week ago. That's a dramatic turnaround.
Yeah, it is. And Ron Collins, give him all the credit in the world for continually coaching these guys with great enthusiasm and great energy. You saw it Thursday. You saw it carry over to Friday. Talking to the players, they all kind of bonded together and said, hey, it's us against the world. It's us against Boulder, us against the media. Let's just go control what we can, which is playing really fast and really smart, disciplined football. And that's what they did all afternoon while not giving up too many big plays, which has been that Achilles heel early on this season.
All right, we'll tie a bow on this one in just a few. It's 24-0. Your final score here from Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. Don't go anywhere. More to come. Big 12 football on Fox College Sports has been brought to you by Philips HD. The images that move you the most are what we deliver the best. Sean Farnham, Yogi Roth, here in Boulder, Colorado. The final score, 24-0. Colorado pitches a shutout. It's hard for many people in Boulder to fathom given how porous their defense was in the first 2 weeks. But as much as we want to praise the defense, you do have to praise the offense, specifically the outstanding tailback and the return of Rodney Stewart.
That's exactly how this offense has been built. Pound the football, allow yourself to make play-action passes, and move the ball methodically but physically down the field. And that's exactly what they did up front all day long. And remember, they did it with a new starter at right guard.
Well, Rodney Stewart was sensational. We questioned how many carries do you give a guy that comes back off of injury? The answer, 32. 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. And how much pressure does that take off of Cody Hawkins to have a rushing attack that can do this?
It's huge. I got a chance to talk to him all week long, and he said, this guy is a game changer. Give him the rock. Watch all the things that he'll be able to do. He said, hey, he's not Reggie Bush, but he's fast, he can catch, and he can find seams and gaps and burst right through them.
All right, couple final thoughts from you. First, let's look at Wyoming. They had a lot of momentum. They had a lot of hope heading into this game after their performance against Texas, specifically in the first half. Mountain West Conference play right around the corner for them. How do you judge a team that, again, has so many new faces and a first-year head coach?
Well, you got to look at what they've done, and first of all, applaud them. They didn't hang their heads. They played disciplined football. But they have to still learn this spread offense. You're not going to learn it overnight. We've said it a few times today. 47 new players since spring ball ended in this program. This offense, only 60% of it in. A freshman quarterback, a true freshman quarterback. And in the fourth quarter, got a little comfortable. So look out when they get into conference play.
And things around Coach Hawkins' house going to be a little better tonight?
They're going to be great. It's his wife's birthday on Thursday night, so they might have that celebration tonight with the entire family. And the most beautiful thing about that is both Cody and his father, their backs against the wall, a ton of scrutiny. What'd they do? They were competitors. That is the essence of who they both are, and said, hey, give me the rock, let's look at each other, and let's go do this thing.
All right, good job. Pleasure working with you, my friend. Cincinnati, Oregon State. It's next on Fox College Sports. You know where to find the best football each and every weekend. There's no question. You don't have to look anywhere else. Next week, we'll be up in Palo Alto for Washington and Stanford. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. For Yogi Roth, Samantha Steele, and Sean Farnham, we look forward to seeing you in the Bay Area next week, right here on Fox College Sports.